Hey family, you want to talk about living on the edge? The Real Housewives of Potomac clip just uploaded as I was coming live. Ugh. Hi guys. Man, how long has it been since I talked to you guys? We had that epic live. Oh, some announcements to make. If you are new here, I want to say hi, I'm Bluecentric. I'm a writer, a spiritualist, and an emotional intelligence coach. I'm also a podcaster and I guess a live streamer now. And this might be one of my top 3 of the year. We did a really amazing 4+ hour deep dive into the 4-part Diddy documentary. And I said this before, for those of you who are seeing the re-upload but didn't see the original, I thanked Tiffany Red. I want to thank her again. Tiffany Red, Cassie's best friend and someone who has been very, very ahead of the curve on calling out Sean P. Diddy Combs on his bad behavior, even when it was dangerous. She came into the chat and had held some space with some people in the room, and it was really, really emotional for me. I was just so happy. I don't want to get emotional, but I was just so happy watching the playback of that video and seeing how beautifully you guys held space for each other during such a delicate and at times completely dark-sided conversation. We made the best of a really nasty subject, and I think we found like some shared humanity in it. So I'm very, 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 there's not even enough words to say how proud I am of the space that we all co-created, even the moderators who were jumping on it to keep it safe for everybody and take out any trolls. And from something really amazing, a really painful lesson popped up. And let me explain what it is. And for those of you who've already seen my last shorts, you already know what I'm about to say. But this is something I feel I need to say. And funny enough, I just got off of doing a show with Claudia and Dustin and Carlos King. And I had asked them for some advice backstage because, they've all been in the public limelight longer than me. And they have a similar kind of base of people who follow them. But on Friday, was it Friday or Saturday? What day did we do the Diddy thing, guys? Was it yesterday or Saturday? The days are I love that you guys are showing Tiffany love. Hold on, let me put the comments up on the screen. I think we did the Diddy thing on Saturday, I think. And it was amazing and cathartic and all the things. And I explained at the beginning of that live that this was my 3rd chance to finally speak on Diddy and do it safely, and I was going to take it. And the bitch took it, right? Yes, it was Saturday. Thank you, guys. And so I wake up the next day, have a bunch of shit to do. And I look on Threads because I don't go on Threads often, but when I do go to Threads, I go to Threads to post because I know we have a lot of Blue crew who are on Threads. And I also go on there to see if I missed anything, right? And I go on Threads and I post the link. Don't think anything of it. And this young lady, if she can see herself in here, do not reveal yourself because I will block you. So if you're here tonight, just be a lurker, right? Just be a lurker. Don't say it was me because I will block you immediately. My grace is done. But a young lady posted a huge picture of someone's face, wrote about 2 or 3 paragraphs attached to the face. And the paragraph said something to the effect of, hey, I know she looks just like her, but this isn't Juror 160. This is my friend Winter, who's a journalist. Cool. Then she tagged Winter on it. Here's my thing, and this has nothing to do with Winter. Winter, I have zero beef with you. I do have beef with your friends, and she's saying she's doing it under your directive. I don't want to believe that you would tell your friends to act like this as a journalist. I believe you understand a little bit more about decorum publicly. But When you go on a space like Threads, which is turning into baby Twitter, where Black women have been attacked, Black women with platforms in particular, me, Jessie, Lovey, it's a long list of Black women who've been attacked on Threads over the last several months. And if you live on Threads all the time, I have a hard time believing you didn't see it, because there are times where I was being talked about and didn't see it, and y'all said it was impossible not to see it, right? So for you to be on Threads and you post a huge picture of somebody and tag that person and write paragraphs and paragraphs, when you could have just simply said, hey, Blue, that's my friend. Can you write something to shout that out? It is combative. Whether you recognize it or not, it's combative, right? It's a heavy-handed way of telling somebody to course correct. Now, here is the lesson that I've learned from this, because it gets a little bit weird. I have always said that as an EQ coach, as an emotional intelligence coach, it is my job to constantly model what it is like to take accountability, because nobody's above reprieve, right? Nobody is Jesus Christ. Nobody is Buddha. Nobody is Yahweh, right? Nobody is Allah. And so as human beings, we are fallible. And so we have to be able to show people we can take accountability, even if we're right 99.9% of the time. I have made you all so comfortable in giving me feedback, because you know that I'm good at taking feedback. Some of you, I'm not pointing any fingers in here. Some of you haven't thought about, are you good at giving feedback, right? I've proven that I'm good at getting feedback, but are you good at giving it? Because it's possible to be pointing out a misstep and be a complete asshole while doing it. Right? What do we always talk about? It's not what you do or even how you do it. Sometimes it's why you did it. So when I see this huge picture and these long paragraphs, and you're tagging the person as if you're inviting us to have a fight about something you know that I would fix, because I tend to fix things very quickly and be like, oh, my bad, and fix it. Literally in the live, because she admitted she watched the whole 4.5-hour live. In the live, you're constantly seeing me talking fast. And when people talk fast, they misspeak. And if I misspeak, people in the live are like, oh, Blue, I think you meant Diddy, not Biggie. And I'm like, you're right. Biggie, not Diddy. Like, I do it all the time on these lives. But to take such a heavy-handed approach, my first thought was, Blue, this is some donkey bullshit. But maybe she's just not emotionally intelligent and doesn't know how fucking aggressive it is to post a huge picture of somebody under my comments with her tagged like you want us to argue. Maybe she doesn't know what she's signaling on Threads after all of these Threads fights of Black women fighting with other Black women. Maybe she doesn't know, right? Because my thing is, if you're going to assume, first assume good intention and then clarify. So I say, hey, love. I hide her picture because the picture was obnoxious. Like, it was obnoxious how loud and audacious, right? So I say, hey, somebody said pure monkey nonsense. Don't make me laugh. I don't know why the word monkey makes me laugh. So I say, hey, love. I'm totally open to correcting this, but you posting a picture and tagging the person and writing all those paragraphs feels very heavy-handed. So number one, I'm open to fixing things. But number two, this was a fucking lot, right? Mind you, the thing that, you know when somebody says something disrespectful to you and it takes you a couple of beats to realize they got you fucked up? I wrote that and then went back to read the paragraphs, and it said, you need to clip this. And I was like, who the fuck are you to? Because the retraction would have been enough. But I was like, you know what, Blue? She's already aggressive, right? Between telling you what you need to do on your own fucking page, not making a request, telling you need to clip this, like she's your fucking boss, and then posting that big ass picture, and then tagging the girl and writing all these paragraphs. Just clip it, because you probably would have clipped it had she acted nicely, and she doesn't seem like someone that can take feedback. So I was like, you know what, girl? I actually changed the comment, and the comment said, hey, I clipped it. We're good. But could you please not do this on my page again? Because whether you realize it or not, on Threads, this was a combative stance, and it was unnecessary. I would have fixed it without all the extra theatrics. So I told her I clipped it and asked her to be less theatrical. Basically, don't come on my page doing that shit ever again, right? I'm thinking that's the end of it. This girl sent me 5 to 7 responses. That 5 to 7. And in all 5 to 7, and I'm saying 5 to 7 because there's one screenshot I didn't take, and so I'm not sure how many responses was in that screenshot. But I do have screenshots of the first 5. In these 5 to 7 responses, she says nasty backhanded things like, Why are you worried about what me posting it on here? It should be fine. Like, it's not like you know your threads page is popping. I saw the low the low comment count on this post and thought this was better than someplace like Instagram. You're trying to tell me that I have no followers and no impact, and so that's why you chose to post it. But if I have no followers and no impact, why are you so fucking pressed? So I was like, ooh, that was a little bit weird and nasty. I said, hey, this creates division. Can you please not do it? And you said, bitch, I don't think you're popping enough for you to be worried about that. Okay. So I said, hey, I have experienced this myself. You may not have experienced this, but I have experienced this. So again, whether you thought I had enough followers and was popping enough for this to be an issue, I'm telling you, it's already been an issue. I went to a Google event and came out to hundreds of messages. So clearly somebody knows who the fuck I am. You included, yeah? So I respond, I'm telling you to please stop. Another message. And so finally, after 3 or 4 messages, I say, why does it take this much discourse for you to simply respect a boundary that I'm setting on my own page? Why are you talking so fucking much when all you had to say was bet my bad? Right? Then I go on my page because I'm getting a bunch of messages. I'm like, why is everybody freaking out about the Diddy video? Mind you guys, the Diddy video did 30,000 views. A 4.5-hour video did 30,000 views in the first 16 hours. So I'm like, oh, maybe my comments are going off because people are responding to how beautiful it was. I go and people are saying, Blue, why is this only 30 seconds? Blue, why is this only 30 seconds? Blue, why is this only 30 seconds? Somebody said, you be having time. Oh, no, I won't be anymore. That's why we're having this conversation. This conversation is the last time. Moving forward, anybody who's blocked from Lucha's page, you said something fucking funny. I saw it, and now you're gone. I'm not making time anymore, right? So I'm like, what do you mean my video is 30 seconds? It turns out there was a glitch on YouTube. When I cut out the 36-second clip of her friend that flashed on the screen, it actually just made the entire video 36 seconds. So now rather than your friend being removed, your friend is now the only thing, and the other 4.5 hours is gone. I start freaking out because to spend 3 days doing research, and y'all know part of my autism is I do research as if I'm about to be on CNN, child. 3 full days of research, 4.5 hours of content, and now it's only 36 seconds. And it's 36 seconds when it's about to go viral and it's already gotten 30,000 views. You guys, I don't want to share numbers. The amount of money that I've calculated that I lost trying to accommodate this cow, this asshole, this person who, if you ever hear my voice again, feel free to block me because I will block you if I ever recognize you. I lost the exact amount of money that I pay a month for my mother's home health aide that I just hired. The amount that I calculated I lost was the exact amount that I pay for a caregiver to check on my mom at the facility 3 times a week. Something about that made me see red. Because, once you involve my family, it's a different story. So I go back on Threads because I was going to ignore her. But I go back on Threads and I say, so check it. I want to go clip the video for you. And now my entire video is gone. So I'm going to say this. Next time you have a problem, how about you go to the TikToker who's posting the picture of your friend and not spend so much time on me since I have no impact, right? I'm thinking even the biggest troll, because a lot of trolls are just fans who are misdirected and want some attention, it's going to be like, Blue just did a 4.5-hour live that I admitted that I watched. I know how amazing that 4.5-hour live is. She just lost it because I've been harassing her. I'm going to feel bad. The girl didn't feel bad. Not only did she not feel bad, I got 3 more messages. You just made me lose. Sorry, I have an anger headache, so I popped some ibuprofen. I have an anger headache, guys. Not once did she say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She was like, oh, well, I just want you to know that I didn't have any nefarious intent. She goes right back to defending herself. Fuck me, fuck her impact. She wants me to So I said, girl, I'm gonna be honest with you. You've written me about 6 or 7 messages and never once have you simply acknowledged my boundary and agreed to follow it. So are you gonna adhere to my boundary or not? And she says, well, of course I am. I thought it was understood. I thought you understood what was happening here. My mistake. Also, now I'm a dumb bitch. Not only do I not have a following or an impact, I now lack the comprehension to understand the thing that you thought that I should know. So I said, girl, you're a stranger. Why would you assume that I would know anything about you? You're a stranger. And she says, oh, well, you're committed to misunderstanding me. So, my mistake for thinking that you could take feedback. At that point, I hit block. And I said, Blue, you're the problem here, because you keep working under the premise that people who feign confusion to you, knowing what you do, because the girl said that she watches my content, they're doing it because they don't understand. This girl is just a harbinger of chaos. She just found out that the entire 4.5 episode is gone. And rather than have a basic human reaction and be mortified, she's still just pounding away the same point she's been making for the last 7 messages. And she's telling you that you're determined to misunderstand, while she is comfortable with the chaos that she is causing you. I blocked her, went to my backup files, found the Diddy video, re-uploaded it, saw a shit ton of messages of people saying, damn, I had some time to watch it, but I guess I'll never get to see it. So for those who don't understand how social media works, when you have a video that's hot and trending, that window is very finite. There are people who will never return if it's not there when they're ready to see it, right? And for videos like this, where the impact is so important, I want it to be seen not just because of the money, but because of the impact. You guys don't understand. Impact really matters to me. I would not be doing this if I didn't think it had an impact. So now I'm fuming like, yo, I have a birthday party to get to. I'm running 2 hours late because you guys don't understand. When you have to re-upload a 4.5 hour video, it takes a very fucking long time. So I make my little short to vent. And then something says to me, Blue, she kept on saying that she was explaining herself because she was worried that you thought she had nefarious intent. Her spending 7 messages defending herself and never showing you basic human kindness means she probably did have nefarious intent, and that she's just mad that you caught on so quickly. Go check her page to see if she said anything else since you blocked her. Do y'all know I unblocked her for 45 seconds? This girl took the link and was gloating to Winter and saying, yeah, me and Blue had a weird back and forth, but I told her she got it wrong and she tried to fix it, and now her video is only 30 seconds. She posted the clip and was gloating to her friend who she allegedly was trying to defend. You just destroyed my video, and you are, Blue's my block because we had a back and forth, but look, her video's only 30 seconds. I was like, oh, so I was right. You're a bitch. God wanted me to say, I was right. So I said in her comments, I said, oh, so no, I actually blocked you because you were combative and you swore up and down for 7 messages that you had no nefarious intent and you weren't trying to, create a moment. But here you are creating a fucking moment because you thought you were blocked. And so you could be who you really were, that you were trying to convince me you weren't. Got it. And I said to Winter, Winter, the message you wrote about Black women having your back and helping people course correct their mistakes, it was a beautiful message. But maybe as a fellow journalist, tell your friends not to be fucking assholes while saying they're trying to protect you. To cause me harm to protect you, it's not it. It's clout chasing, exactly. And then shout out to the person who wrote this. I go to my comments of my short where I'm venting about it, and someone says, Blue, I can't believe this is happening to you again. And there's something about the word again. I was like, she's right. I always tell my clients, this is why I'm sharing this, by the way, guys. I want you to know that as a teacher, I have blind spots and I have to use my own tenets to course correct myself. I fucked up and I'm trying to show you how I course corrected. The girl said, why is this always happening to you? It's happening to you again. And I said, again, what is she talking about? I've never lost a video because somebody was clout chasing on me. But I was like, no, but you did almost get canceled because that girl was clout chasing about that 1-second picture. That did happen. And there was the thing with Icky. And there was the thing with those people who pretend to want to do a podcast with you, but the whole time didn't even fucking like you. She's right. It is again. People know that you're open to feedback. People know that you have a big personality, but you have a small ego. And so fixing things doesn't bother you. And now they're using it to rob you of your peace. The thing that you do to be not like everybody else is showing you maybe this is why people move like this. Because at the end of my short, I said, now I see why Beyonce doesn't talk to us. I really do see why Beyonce doesn't talk to us. So I recognize the issue was me, because there's no reason in this world this fucking harbinger of chaos should have had this much access to me. And it's because I come on here on YouTube and I'm with the Blue Crew. And again, you guys make me so fucking proud, right? The fact that people come in here, they're like, "Yo, my God, your people who watch your videos are so smart and intelligent and thoughtful, and the conversations are so nuanced." You guys, I'm not blaming you, have lulled me into a false sense of security because of what we've cultivated here. But this little community we created together, that's not the rest of the internet. And it's definitely not fucking Threads. And so I hate to say it, guys. I can't believe I lost all that money that I was going to spend on my mom's home health aid. I'm not going to cry. The thing is, the reason why I'm really upset is because of the money that was going to my mother's home health aid. It hit me. I said, Blue, you have to recognize that discernment is lacking here. And so, guys, I adore y'all. I love y'all. But this girl found me while hiding amongst y'all. And so, respectfully, for my own safety and sanity, moving forward, if you give me feedback, it needs to be concise and respectful. If you give me feedback and you start spamming the chat, saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and not recognizing how fucking obnoxious that would be in real life, you might have to get blocked. The internet does this thing. Remember I said it with the spoilers? The internet does this thing where you act like a spoiled, entitled child in internet comment sections in a way that you would know better in real life. But for me, guys, this is real life, because I don't have a code switch. I'm like this all the fucking time. There's no shield between the real Blue and the Blue you guys see on here, right? And I think these 2 or 3 clout chasers, mind you, I only have 41,000 followers. I'm not even fucking well known enough to have clout chasers. This is bizarre work. These little clout chasers have taught me, if the feedback isn't concise and reasonable, I will have to start blocking people. And also, I won't fix everything. I could have simply just wrote in the comments, "Hey guys," which I eventually did in the re-upload. "Hey guys, at 3 minutes and 52 seconds, for about 7 to 20 seconds, somebody's misidentified. Disregard that." That's all I had to do, right? But I was so like journalistic integrity, and I gotta clip it off because this poor girl. I can't save everybody. And half the niggas I want to save want to drown me. So moving forward, if I am less responsive, I need you to know it's intentional. And if I usually respond to you and I don't respond to you, it might be because you're being obnoxious. I do not want to create an unhealthy parasocial relationship where you guys treat me like a god and forget that I'm fucking human. I don't want that, actually. I know a lot of content creators will make you dependent on them because they want to rob you for likes and money grabs and all that stuff. If I had a chance between making $1 million just honestly or half of that honestly, I would take the half. The way we do this, what do I always say? I'm not a hypocrite. How we do it and why we do it matters to me, right? Thank you for those who are saying, "Girl, do you?" So for those of you who like the fact that I have been so responsive, I'm resetting your expectation. Expect less from me in that way. 4.5-hour Diddy fucking live about such a dark topic was more than enough of me for y'all to have for the next fucking week, to be honest. This need to give more. I'm always joking. I'm a tourist. I like to trick on people. I'm going to trick less. If I have something to trick, I'll wait till we're in the members area. But for the general public, those days are officially over, and you have green roots, grassroots, whatever the fuck this girl's name is. You have her to thank for that. Yeah? Me slipping took money out of my mother's mouth. So you have her to thank for that. Somebody, oh, thank you, Heron. It says, "Hi, Blue. I'm a new member that genuinely loves your content, and I appreciate you. Don't let these weirdos get under your skin. I hope this helps." I appreciate you, my love. And I will say, it does help, guys. And the reason why I'm talking about this so much is because I will never talk about it again. Right? If I come in here next time, I'm going to be like, "Hey, somebody didn't know how to keep it cute and got blocked." Next story. Moving forward, it will be concise. I think the reason why I'm so stunned, I was like, "Blue, ever since October at that Google event, God's been trying to tell you to tighten up. And you didn't listen the first time, so he took away a bag of money. And if you want to get a tourist's attention, take away their money." So we're done with that. This young lady wanted a moment, and I'm a fucking genie. I granted her wish. You had your moment. You had 24 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the moment. You wanted so bad to have a fucking moment. I just gave it to you. Look at me granting wishes. All right, back to the show. Oh, by the way, and when I was talking to people, Carlos and them, they were all like, "Blue, you don't rush to edit things on YouTube trying to make people happy. It'll drive you crazy." So It's a lesson. I'm not bitter. But you want to hear something crazy, guys? You want to hear something on the other side of this? Because I want to end on a high note before we move away from talking about trolls. I got a pop-up as I was in the middle of about to have a meltdown. I got a pop-up on my phone from YouTube that said, congratulations, you have the number 99 video in the entire United States. I'm gonna find the picture. That means 1 to 100 in the top 100 videos in the entire United States of America, right? One of our videos as the Blue Crew, because I do think this is a group effort. I'm one of the people who could never say I did this alone, because we really do these lives together. We broke the top 100 of videos in all of America on YouTube. Now I said, now, bitch, what video was that? Again, right? I only have like 40-something thousand followers. What video could I possibly have in a world full of Jake Pauls? In a world full of all these people with millions of fucking followers? How did Blue, with less than 6 figures, and guess which video it was, guys? I'm smiling like an asshole. I'm smiling because I do feel like an asshole for smiling. Guess which video made me break a YouTube top 100? By the way, guys, I didn't know this was a thing. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I didn't know YouTube sent a shout out to people who are in the top 100. I mean, 99 out of 100, I'll take it. Okay? 99 out of 100. Of all the millions of people on YouTube, y'all pushed me in the top 100 with only 40,000 followers. And guess what video it was? This is why I'm smiling so hard. Because I feel like God spanked me on the ass with that lesson and then sent me this on my phone right afterwards. Because the video that hit me in the top 100 was the video where we're talking about Huda and the N-word. And at the very, very end, I end up channeling Olandria and Shelly. And that video went viral all over TikTok. And that's why Shalace was attacking me. Shalace hate watched me into the top 100. I wish I had a less villainous laugh. Oh my God, somebody's giving $100. What? Thank you, Simply Vicious. Block party, protect your peace. We want our base to stay safe. Thank you. It was about 75% love and 25% hate. So there was 3 times more love than hate, but the hate helped. So somebody said, look at God. I'm always saying that. I love that. Won't he do it? Look at God. Knowing that there's clout chasers who are going to always want to use me for a moment because they know how earnest I am, and Blue's dumbass actually gives a fuck, so we're going to pick on her. Knowing that that's always going to be a thing, but that these motherfuckers can push you into success, I needed that. God spanked me and then hugged me. So if there's anybody out there, because a couple of you are thinking about doing content creation in 2026, and I said that this is my first full year of content creation, and that in January, God, that's next month. Fuck, that's next month. Oh my God, I'm about to hit my 1-year content anniversary. So on January 1st, i.e. Haitian Independence Day, that's the 1-year anniversary of me deciding to invest full-time in content creation after I started my first website in 2002. So after 23 years of dating content creation, we finally go together as of last January 1st, right? Not Gemini and Venus at all, commitment phobe. So in January, I'm going to be sharing what I've learned as a content creator over the age of 35 who is not emotionally attached to the internet. Because I feel like being this old, because, you know, over 35, they call you geriatric, being this old and doing content creation, having lived a full life and had several careers, and I run 2 or 3 other businesses, so this is not my only business. There's a certain level of detachment that allows me to watch it from a distance, and I have learned some fascinating things. Number 1, I'm happy I didn't do this in my 20s. I would probably be in intense therapy and hate myself. The only way content creation doesn't eat your soul is if you're already emotionally healthy and or you have a strong support system who's helping you get there. All the things that I've just been laughing at or learning from for the last 12 months would have fucked me up at 29, would have ruined my day. Instead, I was annoyed for a couple of hours, went to my friend's birthday party, and then came back to good news about my show and kept it pushing, right? So if there's any content creators in there, let me know. I do want to share some of my learning. So if you're considering doing content creation, because in this economy, I know many of you might be considering it. I want to do my part to help you break the code because nobody want to teach me anything. I know a lot of people do content creation and everybody feigns confusion because let's be honest, there's some people in this world who are scared you're going to do better than them, right? And here's the thing, guys. They're not always wrong. I'm about to say something very direct and it's not going to sound modest. You guys are used to me. But it is going to be factually accurate, right? Who needs modesty when you can just be accurate and compassionate? I am someone who is intelligent, tenacious because sources don't give up, very well researched, have a lot of expertise, have lived a lot of life, and I have fun with people. If someone is scared to engage with me professionally because they're scared that I might in some way be a threat or steal the spotlight from them, albeit unintentionally, they're not wrong for that. I'm saying this because there's a couple of you in here who need to hear this. Sometimes when people are threatened by you, they're not wrong. There are going to be some people in this world who are going to want to collaborate with you, but are going to be nervous about how big your energy is and how it might threaten what they have going on. And they're not always fucking wrong. Today, I spent 2.5 hours with Claudia Jordan, who's been famous almost my entire fucking life. Carlos King, who counts Oprah and Stedman as his friends and who has created some of the most impactful reality TV moments of all time. And Dustin Ross was a real ass nigga from Detroit. To be in a space of such big personalities and fit right in because everybody's big, so nobody has to worry about shrinking. It made me realize I can only share space with that kind of secure, big energy. Because some people are incredibly talented and amazing, but they don't know it, so they're not secure, right? Secure, big energy thinks I'm hilarious and it's not that fucking serious. Insecure, big energy, i.e. people who are equally as talented, if not more talented than me, but who don't like themselves as much as I like myself. I am a threat to them, not because they don't have something of value, but because they can't defend it the way I can. Does that make sense, guys? So this is not Blue Chalusma's on live talking about she can't work with everybody because she's better than bitches. No, I can't work with everybody if I think you're more talented than you think. If I'm more secure in what you have to show than you are. Right? The reason why I can share a space with other big people is because I don't feel threatened because I'm secure in my own shit. And I used to mistake somebody being as talented as me for somebody being safe. People can be even more talented than you and still be intimidated by you. I know you guys like to be self-aggrandizing. Oh, if you pop in, bitches who are less popping but rich are going to hate. No, sometimes the bitch who's more popping than you will still hate. And this is not a sub. It was an aha moment, right? Because y'all know I'm too confrontational to do subs. So, guys, don't just clock if you're equally yoked. Clock if the other person is abundant enough to believe that about themselves and be confident in it. I keep saying I only work with really talented people, but I keep meeting insecure talented people, and I think that's the piece I was missing. Somebody in here needed to hear that. I know we say that all the time, but I sincerely feel like there's about 3 or 4 people in particular in here who are watching this right now who very specifically are a threat. And because they have a pure heart and they believe in the other person, they're not recognizing that they really still are a fucking threat, though. Right? You not being harmful doesn't mean you're harmless. I'm not a harmful person. I'm also not harmless, though. Yeah? Shout out to those of you who are saying blue. There's several of you in here. I can feel it. All right. We're done. I just did a 33-minute detour. Now let's talk about a little bit of hot topics before we get to Potomac. We're going to get to Potomac. We're going to get to Potomac. And shout out to anybody who said that they were going to rewatch the re-upload or let it run up. Child, put it in your bathroom TV screen. I know some of y'all are rich and got TVs in your bathrooms or little, what do they call iPads? I'm calling it a TV. I'm so old. I know a lot of y'all watch on iPads and TVs and stuff. Just turn the Diddy thing on and let it play, please. Mama got to make her money back. But anyways, I know we're coming here to talk about Potomac. I will say I'm 100% clear as of today. Angel and Kiana have seen our videos, guys. Hey, Angel. Hey, Kiana. And I know you saw how me and Dustin and Claudia went in on y'all on Carlos's show. And I'm about to do it again here. I'm not going to apologize because I only apologize for things that I think are wrong and don't plan to do again. I think I was right and I will continue to do it. So I can't apologize. I am sorry that you're hurt though. Not y'all saying, hey, Angel. So they've seen our commentary on here with the Blue Crew. And I'm thinking, should I get Blue Crew shirts? Stop. It's Christmas time. I'm thinking about merchandise. But one of the things I want to be clear about is Stacey, motherfucking Stacey. I had resolved myself to her being my cheat meal. I had resolved myself to her being a crazy person who that's my nigga and I'm gonna stick beside her. I don't care if she wrong. I had resolved myself to that. But this last episode, I realized, oh shit, Stacey, I, even as one of your fans, completely didn't give you enough credit because in episode 10, Stacey wasn't crazy. And she actually was the sanest person in the room and showed a level of emotional intelligence that almost made me drop my remote control. I said, wait, Stacey, are you just playing stupid for the show? Stacey's in on the joke. Oh my God. Thank you. Shout out to, oh, Naomi, don't make me cry. Shout out to Naomi, be great. I appreciate you, my love. But no, like, y'all, we all might have misread Stacey. Stacey's in on the joke and has high EQ. I'm a little taken aback by that. We're going to get into that in a second. But before we get into Stacey, y'all know I have this thing that whenever I'm about to do a hot topic before the main show about somebody that I know too much about, I do my best to like call it out. And the reason I call it out is not to name drop. It's because y'all love to do gotchas. Y'all know a nigga loves to try to do a clout chase on me. I don't want anybody saying, well, the only reason that Blue is because she knows this picture. I don't want anybody to have a Blue diss you. You know what I mean? So I call it out every episode if I'm about to talk about somebody who we are in the same circle, so y'all can't do it as a gotcha. That's why I do it. I'm not even gonna pretend that I'm righteous. I'm doing it to protect myself from a gotcha. If I say it first, then it's safe, right? So before we talk about Stacey and how she might be the new Queen of Potomac, I want to do a quick hot topic because I saw a clip on Instagram. Now, you know when you go on Instagram and you see a clip that seems sensational, these days, half the time it's AI. I saw this clip, though, about a man who has slept with several of my friends, former or current, and the headline was so bizarre, I sent the clip to a bunch of my industry friends and said, is this real? Is this real? And to my amazement, every single one of them said, yeah, it's real. And I said, I know you fucking lying. I know you lying. So I've pre-vetted it through my network. This is real. I don't see anybody really talking about it because I don't think anybody really cares about it, but I care because I low-key know who that nigga be fucking on. And to throw him some bell, I've heard he's very good at the sex. I know we all love to talk about when men are bad in bed. I think we need to also talk about when they're good in bed. I've heard this man is very good at sex, okay? Not sure he's a great person or a great human, but he apparently has a magical penis. Anyways, have y'all heard the story about Matt Barnes? Have y'all heard about this? No, it's not Wale. I don't think I'm not sure I could ever talk about Wale because he's a very sensitive Nigerian man, and my ability to hurt their feelings is just, it's too easy for me, so I feel be feeling bad. Wale, you have an amazing album. Your new album is dope. You don't get enough credit. You're super talented. That's all I got for right now. Okay. No, Mitson, no. When even your meanest friend is like, no, that dick was good though. You have to give a nigga credit. So Matt Barnes, I'm not sure you're a good human, but apparently you're a great lay. Okay. So apparently, thank you. You thought it was fake too, right? I'm so happy I'm not crazy. I sent this to about 12 of my friends in the industry, and every single one of them not only told me it was real, they started giving me details that I'm not going to cover today. Okay. So guys, Matt Barnes, somebody said no Matt Barnes guy like that. Why is it whenever we talk about a little bit of dick, y'all get focus, guys. We need to have the evil eye bell for penis conversations. And to the men in here, I apologize. There's just another reminder that women are sexual beings. I'm gonna get the dog bell because I want to play the evil eye dog bell to clear the energy from me talking about that girl teaching me a lesson that I probably needed to learn back in October. So shout out to her, I guess. All right, and to shout out to Chalace for getting me into the top 100 in the entire fucking country on you. That still tickles me. Not you niggas hated me into success. I kind of love that. Okay. Somebody said, "Can I try just to make sure?" Ladies, you know there's men who watch this too. Y'all act like we alone in the ladies' room. They can see us. Okay. So back to Matt Barnes and his. Well, apparently his magical penis got him in trouble.
Matt Barnes apparently got finessed by AI. So whoever was behind this Zelle finessed Buddy to send $61,000. I'm trying to figure out this.
For those who are not, Matt Barnes got took for $61,000 by an AI. Instabaddie. Not a real person. Could be a nigga in his mama's basement. Are y'all starting to see why I didn't believe it was real at first? Because I was like, no, that ain't no way that happened. Ain't no way that Matt Barnes. No. This is the kind of shit that happens to your grandparents on Facebook. Not to a tall, light-skinned nigga with a magical penis. I had a hard time believing it, but here we are.
This couldn't have been all at once. Like if this was all at once, sir, what did she say it was for?
Lust will always destroy a man. $60,000. Now, Matt Barnes is one of the lucky type of NBA players that not only got more popular after their career, honestly made a ton of money after their career as well with that podcast with All the Smoke. And this man was trickling his money for fake AI models.
And by no means am I.
So guys, I had to get to the source. I'm sorry. I have intentionally not watched this. Number one, because I wanted to have a reaction with you. I think it's only like a 5-minute video. So I wanted to do a live reaction. And number two, I didn't have no fucking time because I was kicking with Carlos all night. So let's watch together for the first time Matt Barnes' 5-minute story time about how he got tricked out of $61,000 from a Instabaddie who didn't even exist.
Sharing this story for empathy or sympathy. I'm sharing this story because a lie can travel around the world before the truth wakes up.
That's true.
And although this is all being handled legally and people are in the process of being sued, I wanted to address it because the bullshit continues to come out. For like the last 6 to 8 months, there's been a lot of bullshit, particularly posted by Tasha K. And some new chick just got into it, Jessie something.
Oh, wait a minute, not Jessie something. Hold on. Not our Jessie. Who's vacationing with her boo? Okay, you know what, Matt? Not too much.
About messages, text messages, voice audios, all this shit. And it's 1,000% all bullshit. And I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to show you some receipts.
Okay.
To show you that I'm not lying.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, today, you got to do that.
By the way, for those who are saying we're not using the internet for our full potential, the comments, I'm going to see if I can pull this up on my phone and airdrop it to myself. The comments under the initial post is all women trying to figure out how to do this to other people. I think he doesn't realize he might have inspired a new lane of scamming. This might be having the opposite. People are like, oh, and what'd she say again? Hold on, let me grab my notepad. So, Matt, I know you're doing this for sympathy. But in this economy, telling people that they can get $60K and keep their clothes on, bro, I'm not sure you should have shared this.
So this started July of 2023. My ex and I had split up for about a month.
Now, hold on. When he says his ex, let me show you who his ex is, because this just shows you. I think her name is Matt Barnes' ex. She's so beautiful. I had her up on Don't Laugh at Me. I had a picture of her already up on my page, and I was ready. Ananza Sims. There we go. Ananza Sims. But when I came in here, guys, and the members will understand this, the GP, sorry, General Pop, I don't mean to call y'all that, but you're not a member. I once ate an edible and got a little zooted on a members only live because we kiki over there, and accidentally lost the page and then tried to join from a new page, and I doubled myself. Don't laugh, but I did it again. So I had to shut down all the stuff that I had prepped before I went on Carlos' show because I was showing up twice on the screen. So if I'm taking a little bit of time to grab things, I apologize. I just found Ananza. The reason why I want you to know who this ex is, who he's claiming that he's claiming that they were on a break, right? Like Ross and Rachel. He's claiming he was on a break with her, but his ex is the baddie. she's a fucking baddie, is the gorgeous daughter of a black modeling legend. I need you guys to understand the caliber of women that a man will fumble, so that you don't ever think, well, if I was more snatched. No, that's not it. Let me show you who she is. Ananza Sims. The daughter, Ananza Sims, who is the daughter of historic black model Beverly Johnson. Okay? So her mother is baddie royalty. She's a second generation fucking baddie, which means not only is she beautiful, because that's not all it takes, she also comes from like a legacy of women who've used their use their beauty to create a beautiful life and have an impact on our culture. So you're about to allegedly cheat on supermodel Beverly Johnson's gorgeous baddie daughter for AI. I feel like you need that context. I need you to understand the level of the fumble. Okay, let's continue.
Chick DMs me and I entertain her. We go back and forth. Conversation gets spicy. But we never met, never kicked it, never met, never seen this chick one time in my life. And then fast forward, my ex and I got back together. So I told her, she got a little weird, but she kind of just fell back. So moving along.
So you're saying you told Ananza that you had been talking to somebody that you never met, and she was weirded out by it, but y'all kept it pushing. Okay, Matt, I'm listening so far.
We get back together and we end up doing this reality show. And while we were on this reality show, we find out we're pregnant. So we announced that on the reality show. And when that airs for the world to see, I start getting hit up from different phone numbers, tripping. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to expose this. So this started. So I think to myself, like, expose what? Like, we've never kicked it, met, person, shook hands, hugged, none of that shit. So I'm like, expose what? But at the same time, you know, my ex was a little older, which is a high risk pregnancy. And I didn't want no bullshit.
Wait a minute. Is he using her? He's literally using her geriatric pregnancy as his reasoning for allowing extortion? My ex was older and I didn't want any complications. That means over 35, guys. Medically speaking, 35 and above is a geriatric pregnancy. I'm not just being rude. But you're using her age and her pregnancy as the reason why you got it extorted by AI. Am I missing something?
Like that coming out. So this chick said, pay me or I'm going to release.
Release what?
Our text, our conversation, our DMs. And I'm like, you really don't have shit. But again, okay. So.
You really don't have shit, but okay means there's pictures of my dick. I'm sorry. I think he's confessing that his penis is on that lady's phone, if it's even a lady to begin with. It's not for you to be getting 61K. It was penis and ball sack. I'm sorry. I'm not buying this.
I start paying this chick some bread for about a year.
Okay. Is it the Danish deception part 2? Matt, I'm trying to do a live viewing of not the DM deception. Y'all are fucking clever. Turn the comments back on. Matt, I'm trying to do a live reaction, but the stench of this story and all the potholes in it is making it real tricky for me. It's getting tricky to, this is only a 5-minute story time. Why does it feel like it's 30 minutes?
And during this time, I'm kind of just tapping in with her because she's a wild card. She's a nutcase, and kind of just checking in, having empty conversations to make sure she's cool. September of last year, we have the baby. And I keep paying her until the end of the year. So until.
No, come on, bruh. What did my friend tell me? Matt's lying, so I'm gonna just go to my sources. Don't worry, friends. I'm never gonna say your name on the show about our DMs. I just want to I need to fill in the potholes because Matt, you just saying shit now, bruh. This is a damn fucking shame. You know what? That's one thing I will say. Oh shit, my friend is laughing at them. He sent her $4,500 each time. So for those who are wondering, because he's not really sharing much, he was sending her increments of $4,500. It's a very specific amount of money.
December, I think December 6th was the last time I sent her bread. So come January, she flips out. You need to do this. If you don't do this, I'm going to expose everything. So I just confessed. I had told my ex, like, look, showed her the DMs, the conversations, proved that I'd never kicked it with the chick. But this chick starts going crazy and saying, I'm going to expose you and you just wait. And I'm going to show you that too, so y'all can see. But she just starts going on a rampage. The one thing I will say is this chick is good. We had DM for a little bit. There's some voice audios. And then during the process where I was trying to keep her sane, we exchanged phone numbers.
Okay, the fact that everybody is so inspired by this story. I don't mean to laugh, but I do think that Matt does not understand that he's creating a TikTok trend in a way that like everybody's inspired by the story, but not in the way that I think that he expected.
September. So she starts chopping and screwing and even AI in my voice because she had it on a few voice audios. And since then, not a lot of blogs, but Tasha K mostly. And we know how thirsty and desperate she is and how many times she's been sued, like not fact checking anything, just whatever she sent, she runs. So there were stories out there about me being gay. There's stories about me about allegedly trying to convince a girlfriend of mine not to go on reality TV. What else? There's a story about me, the recent one about me allegedly trying to talk someone into an abortion.
Okay, this feels like a game of two truths and a lie. He told us 3 stories that he's claiming are not. I feel like speculation, not a fact, not a fact, not a fact. It's not a journalistic moment at all. It's a key. He said 3 things that don't necessarily sound outlandish for an NBA player. I have a hard time believing all 3 are fake. I feel like he's slipping a truth that. Does anybody else feel like that? Or maybe I'm the only one with history dating tall niggas who pull bitches and lie by telling the truth. Okay. Yeah, I feel like, okay, Matt.
They threaten stories about my kids and all kinds of weird and wild shit. So she starts chopping and screwing. I think in closing, a lot of you who follow me and know me know that I'm not perfect, far from perfect. Fucked up plenty of times, but I'm real. A lot of my private stuff has played out publicly. You guys have witnessed me lose my family this year. You guys have witnessed a lot of shit. And again, I don't make no excuses for none of my bullshit. I accept everything on the chin that I'm responsible for. But again, I had to come and speak out this because it's bullshit. And perception is reality, and people run with perception instead of understanding the reality. When I went in court for these people that I'm about to sue, no one will talk about that because they don't care about that. But they love to run with the lies. So, like I said, this chick is good. She chops conversations up. She AIs conversations. She pieces 3 or 4 different conversations together to make them seem like something that's not true. So again, I'm gonna show you some shit so you can see. Y'all take it from there.
It was just a matter of time.
By the way, guys, I his voice was putting me to sleep, and I had felt that at the beginning, so we're not gonna be seeing much of him anymore. I just can't.
Before AI caught somebody slipping. He posted this at the bottom on his Instagram. He posted proof that he sent the money to this AI Instagram model.
By the way, for those who are saying, I got HDD, can you talk any slower? Honestly, I think this just confirmed that he must be good in bed. Because only a nigga who's good in bed could get me to sit through him talking.
Now, I don't know how old Matt Barnes is, but I'm guessing he's up there in age, because how does this happen? There are so many different ways to check if this woman was
Matt Barnes is only 45. You are nowhere. Okay.
Real or not. The very easiest way is to go to her Instagram, and because AI didn't take off until like this year or last year,
So if
Oh shit, he's right. That means this bitch was using like beta AI. Nigga, you got extorted by Roblox? Somebody said, take me through there, take me through there. Ooh, guys, I'm not sure we're serious enough for this. If you got catfished by AI 3 years ago, nigga, that was just a Crayola drawing.
she doesn't have any posts that are older than 1 or 2 years old, she's probably fake. Also, you sent $61,000 to a woman that you have never even, not only never met before, but you never even FaceTimed before?
No.
The twins are in high school now, you know, playing varsity basketball with their stepdad, Derek, at their high school. Someone who everyone in the world thinks is like my sworn enemy.
Can you imagine my eyes just started watering. Can you imagine your ex-wife marries your sworn enemy, and now the nigga you hate most than anybody on the planet is helping raise your kids? If this is karmic retribution, Matt, what the fuck did you do in the past life, my nigga? Because this is to lose the love of your life to your sworn enemy. Of all the niggas on the planet, she specifically leaves you for your sworn enemy. And then you get got by Roblox.
That's crazy. You know,
Whoever has the voodoo doll of Matt Barnes, let it rest, because this is crazy.
so it's just like life is moving fast.
Derek and I played together on the Lakers for 2 years. Gloria and I filed for divorce.
You guys, I'm playing this for those of you who don't even know who the fuck Matt Barnes is, because you know I always have to level set for those who are walking in this completely blind and just here for the vibe.
January 1st, 2015, the divorce was finalized a year later. But within that time, I found out that my former teammate was dating my ex-wife.
His former teammate, who everybody knows. Look, man, these basketball streets are tricky. These basketball streets are tricky.
And with no communication to me about it from either of them, that was a little bit of an issue.
Matt, if you have a history of cheating on women and being a low-down dirty dog, you don't think that... Yeah. Yes, his ex-wife and her sister, Gloria, were both on Basketball Wives. Yes, that's why you guys recognize him.
I know how bad it was from the beginning. I actually lived it with you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel co-parenting with him?
Like some people think like, oh, he stole Gloria. Like me and Gloria had split up. You know, we were apart for going on a year when they started dating.
Matt, you know you cried in the shower. Matt, you know you cried in the shower. Come on.
And the only thing that really kind of rose me up was the fact that, you know, you're around my kids and didn't tell me. I felt disrespected. You know what turned me and made me go ahead and squash it with him was because the boys said they loved him.
Okay, I will give him credit. Squashing beef with your sworn enemy because your children love him is, even a broken clock is right twice a day. I do not like to paint people in broad strokes when we're also nuanced. Matt Barnes could be a man with really good, reckless community peen. And still like care about his sons and his children, like loving their stepdad and putting aside his feelings. Those two things can coexist.
Like right away, I'm like, oh yeah, well, we gotta be cool.
He loves them.
Oh,
like
definitely.
I gotta give him that. He has their best interests at heart.
We both explained our side. You know, I told him where my frustration from the situation came, you know, just the lack of communication, you know what I mean? And he explained his reasoning and we literally squashed it the next year.
Wait, the next year? Okay, if we have a conversation, but it takes me a year to stop wanting to see your downfall, I mean, that's honest. I do think he's being honest right here. Matt lied so much in that first 5-minute video. Maybe this is accidentally shooting him some bail.
You know, ideally, I wish for both of our situations, whether it's Ananda's ex-husband or, you know, my ex-wife, that we can all be in the same gang and get along. And at one point, it was like that.
Yo, Christmas must be so lit for those kids. Christmas must be so lit for those children. They got like 18 parents. Blue history telling is wild. Right? Look.
But no, it's not. So I don't know if it'll ever get like that again.
Wait, good peen dad, tie me up. Baby, did you miss the part where he cheats? What do you... Baby, no. Blue Cruise talk. No, Rock, don't... Rock, no. I know it's been a rough economy, whether it's penis or money, but come on, baby. No, I want more for you.
You know, obviously, I'm always going to be hands-on with my boys. You know, those are my dogs. So, co-parenting with G after all the we've been through, this community that we built, we have to raise these two young men.
So I love that. I wanted to show something nice about him.
Oh God, Matt Barnes. Why do we keep being punished? Why do we keep being punished by having to hear about this man? And I believe he threatened that. I believe it. I could be wrong, but remember that time where he got on TMZ or whatever it was, talking about how he was dating Rihanna, and Rihanna was like, "I hate to sound ridiculous, but I don't know who this man is."
Choosing my words carefully. I love Rihanna. I love Rihanna. Did I mention I love Rihanna? And this is hypothetical. If I'm getting dicked down by a corny nigga with magical peen who I don't ever plan to take seriously, and he goes around telling people that we dated, I too might say I don't know this man.
Matt Barnes is from the greater Sacramento, California area. He's from Sac County, he ain't from the city. Nonetheless, it do still count as Sacramento for the sake of this conversation. So the answer is no. No. I never once looked at Matt Barnes and said, oh my God, husband material.
Exactly.
You would have known that when we was.
I didn't spill shit. I just spoke about what I would do in that circumstance, right? We all understand Bluecentric didn't speak on behalf of anybody. I just said what I would do. That's all.
Watching him prancing around with Gloria Gavon. Okay, and you know, Anissa, her mama Beverly Johnson, her best friend Kobe Bryant's sister. She is from good stock. It just said, it just seems, I don't know, girl. I don't know what you seen.
Yeah, I wanted to end there. Matt Barnes keeps pulling really impeccable bitches, whether they claim him or not. And so I don't get it. I mean, magical peen, I get that part. But I think at a certain point when a man is this long in the tooth, right? When a man has been hoeing for this long, y'all need to just leave them where you find them, personally. Just leave them where you find them. Now let's pivot to Real Housewives of Potomac timestamp, 1 hour and 2 minutes. I bought y'all plenty of time. Because apparently, Kiana and what's that lady's name? Angel, Doom and Gloom. They've been watching the social commentary of many people. They've been watching the social commentary, and now they're coming out with like podcast videos trying to address us because we got it wrong. Somebody said Matt needs a referral. You know what? Y'all need, okay, down, girl. Okay, so I got it. I'm not going to start any more shows by telling you who has good dick, because clearly it derails the whole damn show. Lesson learned, okay? Focus, ladies, focus. And gentlemen, how you doing? No judgment. Let's see what Angel and Klarna, damn, y'all got me calling her Klarna. I forgot her real name because I've been calling her Klarna. Let's see what Doom and Gloom have to say before we do a recap of episode 9 and 10. I need to stop. All right.
Angel, what are your thoughts on the colorism comments and people are saying online? Because I think that's just really ridiculous.
You know, the reason thinking that it's ridiculous for any person who can breathe and has Wi-Fi to be colorist, including other Black people, is weird, because we're all taught colorism, we're all taught misogyny, we're all taught racism. Klarna, just because you're browner skinned, I want to say dark skinned, but I don't want y'all to jump on me. Klarna, just because you're dark skinned doesn't mean she can't be cut. What? Klarna is so beautiful. Why do they have Angel's titties covering her face? I'm a little annoyed. Anyways.
The reason that I haven't addressed it is because, number one, it is wholly and completely untrue.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm going to put it this.
I don't think it's possible for it to be completely untrue that anybody's colorist. Sorry, guys. I actually not sure that's possible. I think all people are taught colorism that they're not aware is colorism, and then they can either confront it or continue to cultivate it. I don't think it's possible for any human being to be 0% colorist. I'm not sure that's even a possibility.
This way, colorism is very real, and it is something that has been used to divide Black people by white supremacists and by our own people for a very long time. And
Yeah.
Not Angel, quote me. Go ahead, sis. You sound smart.
that's just not me. It's not who I am. And I think that ascribing that to someone who isn't that is dangerous, because it becomes a red herring when it's actually happening and attention needs to be paid to it.
Yeah.
Here I am sitting here describing a facial expression that somebody makes. And
oh, she's talking about the Forrest Whitaker eye moment.
People want to leap
Yeah.
bounds to that conclusion that is so dark and negative.
Hey, Pookie.
And I called you. It was really hurtful. It was extremely hurtful. It's
Wait a minute. You think it's hurtful that you were called colorist, but it's not hurtful that you said that she had asshole lips and a Forrest Whitaker eye? Respectfully, I'd rather be called colorist. Are you serious? Let's take a poll. Would you rather someone say, hey, I think that person's colorist, or someone say, you got doodle lips, booty hole lips, and a Forrest Whitaker eye? I'm not going to hold you. What? If you call me colorist, I can be like, oh, really? Was it some internalized colorism pointed out? Let me see if it's real so I can address it. Forrest Whitaker eye and doodle lips on an entire franchise that's based on beauty. Girl.
It's extremely hurtful, especially considering I'm a person who works for the visibility of Black people always. I will also say,
is she saying that working for the visibility of Black people doesn't make you colorist? Nigga, 90% of the freedom fighters from the 1920s to the 1990s were colorists. Put their lives on the line. We're on the front lines. Even Martin Luther King allegedly had white bitches. What are you talking about? You think you are more above the pitfalls of systemic colorism than Martin Luther fucking King? Angel, respectfully, if Martin Luther King can allegedly fuck white bitches, you can be colorist. I need you to calm the fuck down. I don't know who told you were Maya Angelou. I know why the cage bird chirps with her pretty dark-skinned friend, huh? What the girl? Angel intellectually infuriates me because she's pretending to be something she's not, which is something I actually technically am, and it's infuriating. As someone who very sincerely takes an academic approach to life, not because I'm the smartest bitch in the world, because that would be fucking horrible for the rest of humanity, but as somebody who sincerely takes an academic liking to things and likes to study things, watching her cosplay as one of us is so bizarre. And I think that's why I find it so offensive, because of the level of hubris that she is using to pretend to be intellectualism that is actually quite offensive to those of us who are doing the work. In the same way that T.I. memorizing the dictionary didn't make him a scholar, you saying mercurial rather than moody and copying, pasting an AI rendition of what all of us say about colorism as a way to circumvent how you might have had. Here's Angel, since you watched the show, and I feel like you're gonna see this and you might feel a way about me. If you have my voodoo doll, put some money in its pockets. What you could have said, Angel, if you were a true academic rather than cosplaying as one in that beautiful ginger wig of yours. Hey, I've never thought of myself as colorist because my sister is brown skin, Klarna, you're brown skin, and for me, it's not something that I would personally like call myself. However, though, given how Forrest Whitaker is a dark-skinned Black man, and Wendy is a dark-skinned Nigerian woman with traditional Nigerian features, I can see how me mocking her features and comparing her to a man, knowing that one of the tenets of colorism is that we make women who are dark masculine simply for being dark-skinned, I can totally objectively understand why someone could arguably come to that conclusion, even though I don't share it myself. That's how actual academics unpack things, even when they disagree, Angel. Stop it. Stop it. Oh my God, I hate it here. Girl, I feel like you're finding out in real time that you're not as interesting as you thought. Because I think we're watching a very, very resistant ego death happening in public. You're not as interesting as you thought. You're not as wise as you thought. You're not as deep as you thought. You're not as charming as you thought. You're not as charismatic as you thought. You might not even be as cute as you thought. And I think you're finding that out in real time. And rather than, this is very much like the young lady from the Danish Deception. Rather than saying, fuck, this was a horrible way for me to have to learn this, but maybe my ego is so stubborn, this is the only way I would listen. Rather than you pulling a Risa Tisa and owning your shit so that we could see ourselves in you, you're continuing to pretend you're the smartest bitch in the room. When I'm not even sure you understood Mercurial when you used it. Oh, bon Dieu. This might be the last time I start off with them because they're already draining me before I get to Stacey.
None of these women on this platform are that.
Anytime I think I can get behind Gizelle and her synthetic wigs, I live to...
Oh, wait, did you say the last thing she said? She said none of the women... You know, this is why I included the clip. The very last thing she said was, none of the women on Potomac are colorists. Bitch! Even God laughed. I'm sorry. For you to say none of the women on Potomac are colorists when it is hands down the most colorist Black franchise that Bravo has ever conceptualized, are you fucking kidding me? Are you still trying to get Gizelle to tap you into her sorority? Let's play that Black. Sorry, pay it back. I said Black. Look at that. Let's pay it back.
Always. I will also say none of these women on this platform are that.
Anytime I think I can get behind Gizelle and her synthetic wigs, I live to regret it. Because what do you mean you can't trust Stacey around husbands and children? Girl, are you okay? Show us the receipts. Show us the receipts. Who are these husbands Stacey is trying to take?
Is the husband in the room? Look, we already let you get away with calling the show Real Housewives. All right? The husband is silent like the U in the word queen or queef, right? So we've already let you get away with the fact that you're calling it Real Housewives. Like, we've already suspended reality in that way. But now you're making the husbands, you're making imaginary husbands that don't exist a storyline. You're taking it too far, okay? This is supposed to be fun.
If the receipt is Chris Samuels, it's bizarre because Stacey met Chris as a single man. He has been divorced for 2 years. She was also divorced at the time. What is the big crime? I'm not getting it. Because the plan is not working, y'all pull in Charisse. Charisse calls Chris. Chris says, I don't know what y'all are talking about. Okay, so now that's not working. Let's go to plan B. Charisse pulls out a story from 5 months ago. You know, me and Stacey went out a couple months ago looking for dick, and the guy that she liked ended up being married. Ooh.
For those who don't know who Charisse is a very rich woman in Potomac who, very much like Mariah from Married to Medicine, thought that she would be the star of the show because the producers used her as almost like a scout to pull in her friends to be on the show. So Charisse is thinking, I'm first chair. I'm the first person they picked. I'm helping them do casting. I must be the star. Now, even though I think Charisse looks like she's constipated at all times, like every time I see Charisse, I want to take a shit. There's something about her where I feel like she needs her colon cleansed. I can't explain it. If you get it, you get it, right? So even though I think Charisse is figuratively and quite literally full of shit, a part of me understands. Because I said, when I had my talk show, I was the first chair, and they made me help with the casting, and I was supposed to be the star of the show. It's not an irrational thought. What actually ended up happening, though, is that the star of the show ended up being Karen and Gizelle. Because let's be honest, Charisse, you are a medium brown woman with a crunchy wig and some bloating who doesn't really do much. Yeah? And Potomac is colorist and Bravo likes young shit. So the two blonde light-skinned girls who are actually fun and have a big personality. What did I say earlier? You got to know when somebody really is a threat, right? If Charisse had thought Gizelle and not Robin, don't get me started on Robin Dixon. If Charisse was being like self-aware, she would have been like, fuck, I'm definitely not going to be the star with Gizelle and Karen here. Because they passed the brown paper bag test and we're in Potomac. and they're fun, and they're attractive, because not light skin doesn't always mean pretty. And they have charisma. So I know I can't be the star of the show because there's too many other stars. Let's be a constellation. That's what would have happened. Instead, it's been several years and Charisse is still mad that she has been ushered out of her own fucking show in her mind, right? Wasn't her show, it was always Andy's, but in her mind, because I helped you set the foundation, how dare I not be the star? Because you're not a star, baby. You're barely a supporting character. So Charisse pops up in intervals trying to be relevant, because in reality TV, if you're already rich, the thing you're chasing is not money, it's relevancy. Yeah? Charisse shows up to that infamous scene when Stacey was waving her finger at Cookie, and Cookie said, don't wave your finger at me. And Stacey said, well, here's another finger, bitch, now what? And then the Detroit in her came out, and Stacey pulled aside whoever was in her way and got in Cookie's face. Like, bitch, I'm from Detroit. Don't let QVC fool you, right? Are we caught up? If you're not caught up, it means you might not have seen my first recap, so you might want to stop the live and go watch my last Real Housewives of Potomac, because I'm actually literally picking up from where I left off. We left off with the finger. We're jumping right back there, right? So in the midst of this, Cookie and Stacey are fighting. Here comes Charisse, looking for some drama rather than looking for a bathroom child. Now, why is it that Charisse gives me the? Is it my psychic ability? Does she need her colon cleansed? Because every time I see that lady, I'm just like, you really need to take a shit. So Charisse walks up and is like, well, I know Chris Samuels. I've been close to him. If you guys are arguing about if Stacey ran back and told Chris Samuels what's going on between all the girls and Monique and her, Chris will tell me. So she takes out her phone. She calls Chris and she's like, Chris, I'm going to ask you a question. Just say yes or no, because I'm with the ladies right now and we're filming. Did you and Stacey have any conversations about what Monique might have shared with the girls in a private group conversation? Private as in it's going to be pumped out to millions of people in Bravo, but okay, go off. And Chris is like, I don't know nothing about that bullshit. Like, Chris goes straight into old honorary black man energy. I don't know nothing about that bullshit. And so Stacey's like, see, Chris has no idea what you're talking about because me and Chris never talked. Now, to be fair, Stacey is a pathological liar for fun reasons. She doesn't make any harmful lies. The reason why I can fuck with Stacey despite being an EQ coach is because her lies are harmless and half the shit she's lying about was none of your fucking business to begin with. Guys, I'm actually okay with you lying to your nosy, toxic coworkers when they ask you invasive questions. If a messy coworker asks you an invasive question, you don't actually owe them the truth. Because Stacey said, I don't want to talk about it. And if you keep on pushing her, now I'm just making a story. I don't fuck with y'all. I don't see anything wrong with that personally, right? Mind your fucking business. So you would think it's over because the man done said, I don't know nothing about this bullshit. Instead, all the confessionals, I don't believe Stacey. I don't believe Stacey. I don't believe Stacey. Klarna is still talking about how Stacey can't be around her imaginary husband. And here comes Gizelle, who's offended, is talking about, Stacey, I'm going to usher you out. And Gizelle walks Stacey to the elevator like, bitch, get the fuck out my party. Now, here's the thing, guys. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Gizelle Bryant is on the show as an actress. She knows how to separate reality TV from her real life, right? And you can tell those moments where the line gets blurred and she actually get angry. But she's mostly a troll who's not taking any of this really seriously, right? There are girls she likes, girls she loves, but at the end of the day, she's at work. I am starting to believe that Gizelle can tell that Stacey can't be hazed, and that Gizelle knows that the audience loves an anti-hero. Gizelle already fumbled when she tried to haze Candace, and Candace became an anti-hero. Gizelle fumbled when she tried to go after Monique, and Monique became an anti-hero. Gizelle fumbled again with Wendy, and now Wendy has become an anti-hero that Gizelle has had to be in cahoots with because the tide was turning and we were calling her colorist, right? So after 3 failed attempts with people who she knows are anti-heroes, of all those women I just named, we've still never seen anything like Stacey. So I think Gizelle's clocking Stacey can't be hazed, which means she's probably the next anti-hero. And she actually has a fucking storyline, unlike Ashley, who's constantly just scurrying like a bone collector. And in her mind, that is perfectly made for reality TV because she loves good drama, but she's adverse to integrity. Gizelle's like, wait a minute. If I don't neutralize Stacey, she's going to keep having moments because it's like 3 against 1 and this bitch keeps on coming out like Thanos. So Gizelle getting mad and saying, get the fuck out of my event and going to the elevator and pushing the button, I think it was because she was trying to neutralize Stacey. I don't think she actually gives a fuck about Chris Samuels. You know why? Gizelle hates Monique. So do you really want me to believe that Gizelle was so angry that Stacey might have dated Monique's ex when Stacey didn't even know Monique? Do you really want me to believe that Gizelle is righteously indignant that Stacey dated a man who used to be married to Gizelle's enemy? That doesn't make any sense, guys. If you dated the ex-husband of a bitch I hate, yay or neutral? But why am I so mad? I don't even like this bitch. Right? And also, you dated him before you even met her. Guys, dating the exes of people you've never met is just called dating. I've said this before. Dating the ex of a woman you've never met is literally just called dating. All of us are dating the exes of people we've never met. I'm so sorry. I am confusion. And whenever everybody's mad about something that doesn't make sense, Gizelle Bryant is behind it. Whenever everybody's really, really angry, but the layperson watching is like, wait, 2 + 2 is not 17. How'd we get here? It's because there was a group text and Gizelle was trying to get a storyline. So I don't believe for 1 second that Gizelle is worried about her imaginary husband being scooped by Stacey. I do believe that Gizelle is starting to peep. Damn, Stacey, when it was 1 against 1, you couldn't be thwarted. When it was 2 against 1, you couldn't be thwarted. We are now at my event, and there are 6 bitches screaming at you, and you are like, what's up? I'm not kicking you out because I care about Chris Samuels or Monique Samuels. I'm kicking you out because you are fucking Thanos. Britt, you said you're so lost. Why are you lost, my love? Did you not watch the show? Let me know why you're lost. I might be able to make it clear for you. Right? So for those who might be lost, we left off last time for Potomac with Stacey going to an event to support Gizelle, and all the women start yelling at her because they have heard from Cookie, a friend of the show, that Stacey has been sharing confidential conversations between them that happened on camera with Chris Samuels. The same Chris Samuels she went on like 2 dates with and had never met his ex-wife Monique, so she didn't owe the bitch anything, right? So all these women are attacking Stacey for being a husband stealer, even though Chris Samuels was nobody's husband when she dated him and she didn't even know his ex-wife. Does that make sense, guys? And the fact that the entire room is cussing out Stacey and Stacey is unfucking moved. That's why Stacey got kicked out. That's my personal opinion.
Y'all are pathetic. It's getting pathetic. It's getting weird. And Kay, once again, losing her cool, got her wig melting off her head. Y'all look ridiculous. Stacey decides to leave the party. Gizelle decides to go over and kick her out. How do you kick somebody out that's already leaving?
Oh, by the way, guys, because I was short on time with Carlos, I actually haven't watched most of these clips, so I love that we're on the same page. Oh, I love when that happens.
It's getting weird. Then they assemble at Angel's Rental to try to figure out how to take down Stacey.
Oh my God, yes, I forgot this part. They had a function. So imagine 6 bitches roll up on you trying to bully you. You're like, bitch, I'm not scared of none of you hoes. You take it on the chest. As you're leaving, the host pretends she's evicting you when you were already fucking leaving. And the very next day, everybody who conspired against you is meeting with each other to have a meeting about you. A meeting about you for dating a man who was married to a woman you've never met. Y'all, that meeting, and guess where they held the meeting, guys? If you were going to be a hater who doesn't make sense, what would be the best place to go? Angel's house. Because where else do you go when you want to be a hater who doesn't make sense?
Everything they threw at her at the party didn't work. So now it's time to call Monique. Yes, Ashley, it's time to call Monique, since this actually has to do with her and nothing to do with the rest of you.
So here's Ashley. Ashley's thinking, fuck, a whole group of us can't take fucking Stacey, right? A whole group of us cannot take this bitch down. You know who could take her down? Monique, because Monique got kicked off the show for beating bitches' asses. For those who don't know, Monique was on season 2 and 3 and mollywopped Candace and got put off the show. So they're thinking, well, if we can't break her spirit, maybe we can get Monique to break her jaw. No, but we're going to lie. We're going to pretend that we want to have a peace treaty. We're going to pretend that, oh, we have to tell Monique that this woman who's never met her dated her husband when they weren't married anymore. We have to tell her this irrelevant fucking information that has nothing to do with us. So we're going to have a peace meeting, okay? And at this peace meeting, we're going to make sure that we tell Monique that this thing that's none of her business is her business. Now, here's what's crazy. When they hit up Stacey and tell Stacey, yo, we want to have a meeting with you and Monique to clear the air. Sorry, Monique quit. Thank you for correcting me. Monique quit. I know that there had been calls. I know the girls had called. Gizelle had called. And Robin, I think it was Robin, Gizelle, and one other person. Because I actually stopped watching that season and had to watch it through clips. But Robin and Gizelle were very big on the Monique needs to be put off the show because she's being violent. But thank you for letting me know that she ultimately quit. So, real op behavior. When they go to Stacey and say, Stacey, we feel like you need to talk to Monique to clear the air. Stacey's a smart ass. I'm going to keep on mentioning Detroit, stand the fuck up. If I was from Detroit right now, I'd be so fucking proud. Stacey, in her true Detroit wisdom, says, oh, I'm totally open to talk to this woman I don't know to clear up this thing that should not be a thing. But one thing I'm not about to do is fucking deal with Klarna and Ashley and their bullshit at the table. Because they have no storyline outside of me, and I'm not going to give them a moment. So Stacey said, I am only showing up. I'm only showing up if those two are not allowed to be at the table. Okay? I want you guys to understand how boundary setting can save you even when you don't know you're being set up. The person who said Robin quit, no, she didn't. Robin didn't quit. Robin was fired. Robin didn't quit. That one I know for a fact. Robin did not quit.
Arrives at the dinner and immediately has Kay removed. Because Kay, what do you have to do with this?
So yes, so when they meet to have the meal, actually, let me read my notes. I keep forgetting I have fucking notes. All right, notes. Let's go in order for a second. I'm gonna put the video down and go in order because the video is jumping ahead a little bit, and I want you guys who are not familiar with the show to have it slow down so you can catch up. And those of you who watch the show but we're doing other things and playing on your phone, I'm gonna do some reminders. So after the girls have the meeting, say we need to have a big old meeting with Stacey with a woman she doesn't even fucking know about a man who wasn't even married to her. Then the very next scene is Klarna and her mom and her fine ass brother. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you this. Kay is so attractive. Her mama is so attractive. It turns out her brother fine too. Whole fucking family fine. They were showing like pictures from back in the day, and I was having inappropriate, like, oh, so all of you look like this. This is amazing, right? So they are having this meeting with Kay and her fine ass brother and her gorgeous ass mother. And in the meeting, they admit that they don't like Greg. Greg, you know, baby titty Greg, who wears the tucked in Marshalls t-shirts. Yeah. So they all find nice ways to say, Greg is dusty. What is you doing? Right? And whole family tea, thank you. Let me tell you, it's not just me, right? I was like, girl, do you need to get laid? What the fuck? No, the whole family's very attractive. Klarna is miserable, but I will never call that bitch anything but gorgeous. I'm sorry, right? Yes, her brother was. I love that we're on the same page. So her fine ass mama, who looks like she could have been hanging out with Janice Combs back in the day, child. She probably had a chinchilla at somebody's funeral, right? For those who don't know, go watch the Diddy video that we did. So her fine ass mama, who I'm clear used to get top dollar from street niggas back in the day, allegedly, just speculation. And her fine ass brother, who actually sounds like he has sense. So Klarna, I really don't understand what the fuck happened to you. They're just basically like, yeah, girl, I think he a little dusty, but if you like it, we love it, I guess. And that's the scene. And that's the moment I realized, Klarna, even with this ridiculously, Klarna, you keep bringing gorgeous, fine-ass members of your family onto the show, and I still don't like you. Do you know how rough it is for a bitch who as shallow as me, for you to have all this pretty family, and I can still not enjoy you? And your only storyline seems to be that everybody but Angel thinks that Greg is dusty. By the way, somebody said Klarna can have any man she wants, right? By the way, people have started, instead of doom and gloom, people have now started calling them Klarna and Afterpay. I am, sorry, be professional. They've started calling Angel and Klarna and Afterpay, and I can't unhear it. So her family basically confirms that Klarna doesn't have a storyline aside from Dusty Greg doesn't want to marry her, right? You're begging a man who is lucky to be breathing your air. Anyways. There's nothing sadder in this world than a pick me who can't get picked. Anyways, the next scene, and this is heartbreaking, is about Wendy and her family. The next scene, why are you guys laughing? What happened? What did I do? Did I have another tism? Y'all know I don't be knowing. Oh, you guys like the green? It's chartreuse. Chartreuse is one of my favorite shades of green. For those who don't know what chartreuse is, it's the adult version of lime green. I love me chartreuse, honey. Bridget makes fun of me because I love chartreuse so much. I'll be wearing like random chartreuse shoes or chartreuse underwear. It's just such a happy color. Am I crazy for thinking? And I think this is my autism. This color brings joy. I don't know anybody who does not feel bright and happy in chartreuse. So for my new divergent girlies in there who have really big reactions to color, I highly recommend throwing a little chartreuse into your whimsical whatever. It really does make you feel like, oh my God, I'm like a bird. I fly away. Sorry, I'm having a tism. I'm back. Anyways, away from the chartreuse. For people who are new here, I really do have ADHD. I'm not joking. So the very next scene is Wendy and her family. And I wrote in my notes, Wendy got the budget. Ugh, Wendy's mother broke my heart because whatever Wendy did, if she did it, allegedly, I'm very clear that the pressure from her mother could consciously or subconsciously be the reason. Oh, you guys love chartreuse too? I love that. A lot of people are like, bitch, what color is that? This is chartreuse, guys. It's not lime green, it's chartreuse. So when you watch the footage of Wendy's with her sister on her beautiful deck with her mama whose face, makeup, new body, new outfits, new purse, you could tell are all funded by Wendy. And Wendy sits down with her sister and she's like, yo, we have not seen our dad in 20 years. Me and Eddie and the family went to Nigeria for a whole month. And this man, this breaks my heart. She went back to Nigeria for a full month with her beautiful husband, her beautiful children, her fame, her financial success. For those who know what immigrant families are like, particularly Nigerian families who expect you to be successful, for you to have a beautiful family and to have lots of money and to have 4 degrees and to be famous, that's supposed to be a Nigerian parent's wet dream. So it's not lost on me that some of the overachieving many of us do, particularly those of us who have parents who couldn't do for themselves in the same way, is us trying to pan it to them like, hey, are you proud of me now? Are you proud of me now? So Wendy's like, I've checked off everything on the Nigerian proud parent bingo list. I'm going to take all my money and my beautiful family and my gowns and go to Nigeria for a month and be reunited with my daddy. Maybe now he'll love me. Wendy's not saying that consciously, but subconsciously I know she is because I've said that before in my head subconsciously. And it didn't work. It didn't work. He did not want to see her. And her mother's response to her daughter saying that 40 years into this thing called life, all these degrees and all this fame and fortune, I still am yearning for my father's love and attention. And her mother's response for that was, well, now I get to spend your money. So fuck him. He messed out. Your little girl is aching for the man that you made her with. And your response is to gloat and twirl in your Jordache jeans with your freshly bleached skin and gloat that, well, now you get to keep all the money. And Wendy kind of did that laugh we do when our parents are saying something hurtful and problematic, but we're so used to it. And it made me really sad. It made me really sad. And her sister did her best to speak some life into her. And she was like, you know, dad is dad. Like we can't change him. And I do think her mother said one nice thing about, well, there's only one Wendy and, you know, there's no replacing Wendy. Your dad has mad kids, but you're one of one. I think that was kind. So I will show her mother a little bit of bail. But her mother spent way more time talking about, well, now that he's gone, I get even more of your money. And then Wendy started showing her mother around the house and her mother kept on like egging her on to make renovations. So in the same way that we sometimes give Mama Joyce some flack for, she wasn't wrong. She was just early about Todd. I think the person who deserves the flack is Wendy's mom. And Wendy, please don't get mad at me because I know you love your mother, which means even though if you agree with me subconsciously, you're going to be annoyed by this. But I do think that scene being kept in by Bravo, I don't know if the producers added it in after the fact, but I'm happy they included it as context because it humanizes why someone as brilliant as Wendy and someone as brilliant as Eddie might allegedly make so much money, have so much access, and still need more. It makes sense, right? Like, we're thinking, how are you so dumb? You know what makes smart people really dumb? Unresolved childhood trauma. The smartest person in the world, if it's something around them just wanting the love of their daddy or their mommy, or to wish somebody could hold them and tell them it was going to be okay and see them when they were a little girl who had none of this stuff. If you don't resolve that trauma, suddenly the most brilliant person in the world with all the degrees becomes a child, and they make mistakes, right? So I'm not saying that I'm excusing what Wendy allegedly did. I'm just saying that that scene, as sad as it was, made me finally understand that if she did do it, I get it. I don't condone it. I don't think I would do it because my mama be asking me for all types of shit. I'm like, either I got it or I don't, right? But I'm also an EQ coach, and healing is my job, right? So yeah, Wendy, I'm happy that they humanized you in that way. And I think the Bravo producers, before we could tell, they could tell that you were going to have a really great redemption song this year without Karen being there. I do not think Wendy would be loved on or appreciated for how great she is as a housewife if Karen was there. So in an odd way, in the same way, my haters hate watched me into being in YouTube's top 100. For those of you who are late, I'm just saying. The way my haters hate watched me into being in YouTube top 100, I think Wendy's hater, Karen, actually gave her a layup for her best season. That's the funny thing. I think a lot of times our haters are just misdirected fans, right? And so, because they know more about you than people who actually do fuck with you half the time. So Wendy has that moment, guys. And I'm sorry for sitting with that moment for so long because I know we were having fun, but I thought that moment was really important and impactful. And then the girls, we go straight to the meeting, right? The great meeting between Monique and Stacey. And I feel like Monique was brought back this season just so that she could, like, you know, add a little bit of razzle dazzle, because everybody knows Monique for being this hothead and this larger than life energy. So Monique, let me see first. Monique arrives first along with, hold on. Okay, first it's Monique, then it's Ashley, then it's, and I'm not saying in order, I'm just saying who's there. At first it was Monique and Ashley and Kiarna. Those were the first three that I remember seeing. And when they were all three sitting, I thought it was brilliant, guys. I thought it was brilliant for whoever was in charge of, hey, my love. I thought it was brilliant for whoever was in charge of making the arrivals happen, that they allowed Klarna and Ashley to be alone with Monique before Stacey got there. Because when Stacey said, I'm not talking with these bitches around, the producers knew that Stacey meant that shit. So they knew that if they wanted a moment of Klarna and Ashley being messy, that they would have to do it before Stacey got there. So shout out to the producers who came up with that. And they did exactly that. They were chatting big shit. They were trying to gas Monique up to get Monique mad. And as a Black woman who's constantly having other Black women pitted against me because y'all don't want to believe that two strong women can be friends, it was kind of icky watching how blatantly these women were trying to get a Black woman to fight with another. It felt like threads. It felt like threads. I didn't like how it felt, right? And so they're trying to gas them up. And this is what I love. It says here, the girls try to piss off Mo before Stacey shows up. But Stacey stops, but Mo stops them and says that Chris and Cookie are both liars. And so she's taking it with a grain of salt. I love that. Most people will only hear someone talking shit and they immediately get defensive, right? It's human nature to immediately don't like somebody who doesn't like you. What's not human nature and has to be an acquired skill is cite the source. If you just told me that two liars are telling you that me and this woman that I barely know have beef, I'm not going to forget that you're talking about two liars. Oh, thank you guys. You love the makeup. I appreciate it. Shout out to a makeup artist, D, who came in and I don't have energy lately to do my own makeup. So shout out to D for coming over my house. Your makeup is beautiful. Would you ever think about a tutorial? No, because all the stuff that I do is cute, but the stuff that is like, it's D. Maybe one day I'll have D come on and we can do a tutorial together and she can show you guys how she does my makeup. Oh, that could be fun. Maybe I'll do that for New Year's. I think D is I rented a house for New Year's for me and Bridget and my sister. And I just invited my makeup artist to join us. So if she decides to come over for our little New Year's girls night, then I will ask her if she's down to do some content around makeup, right? All right. So anyways, guys, so Monique's not falling for it. Monique's like, no, Chris is a fucking liar. Cookie's a fucking liar. I'm going to hold my judgment. Then it says here, Wendy arrives next. I love this. First, you have the two haters who like to start trouble first. Then you have Wendy, who's going to be the peacemaker, arrive. Wendy arrives and tells Mo that Chris denied the convo even happened and that Stacey doesn't feel safe with Klarna there. So, right? So first, there's the mess with the two girls that didn't work. But then here comes Wendy saying, hey, they left out the part where we called your ex-husband and he denied it ever happened. Oh, they didn't mention that part. Oh, because they wanted a moment. Got it. Right? And so, but then they were all like, hey, and this is the part that I can't throw Stacey Bell. Stacey's a liar too. So take it with a grain of salt. Okay. They left out the part that Stacey only tells harmless lies to her coworkers, but it is what it is. So Monique is sitting there thinking, you guys are telling me that you're mad at a liar because of something you were told by two other liars. I'm not taking sides because nobody who you're telling me about is credible, even based by your own admission, right? Which I love that Monique's EQ is that fucking finely tuned, because they could have really gotten her into some mess with Stacey, and Monique and Stacey fighting would have made me really, really sad. So Stacey arrives just as Kay is calling her a fake, fraudulent ass bitch. Yes, I did write notes, guys, right? And the thing about Kay is pretty, but whenever Kay is trying to seem like she's having a bad bitch moment, she does this angry enunciation thing that I believe, speculation, not fact. It's almost like a child mimicking a mother who's screaming at them. And so I'm starting to think that when Kay is trying to be a bad bitch, she's just cosplaying as her bad bitch mother. You know, my jewels, my dials, my whatever. If you mute Kay when she's trying to cuss out Stacey, it always looks like a parent scolding a child. And can we all be honest? Her mother looks like a baddie from the back in the day, right? So I feel like Klarna's trying to cosplay as her mama. So Klarna is like, yeah, this fraudulent fake ass bitch, blah, blah, blah. And here comes Stacey walking in. Hello, ladies. So I thought I had made it clear that I'm not cool with these bitches here. And here comes Kay. Ha, ha, ha. Here's Ashley, excuse me? Actually, you knew she didn't want Klarna there because when you walked up to the reservation, you said it's a reservation for 4, but can we make it for 5? Y'all didn't catch that. I did. She said it's a reservation for 4, but can we make it for 5? Which means you were told that she didn't want Klarna there, and you added her after the fact to create more mess. I'm just saying. And you know, Stacey is very still. Stacey has very great emotional regulation, and she says that she says to the ladies, "Hey, y'all can't be here. I made it clear that I'm not doing this with y'all here." And Stacey, before the girls leave, Stacey pulls out her phone. She's like, y'all are saying that I hit up Chris Samuels. Here's my text exchange. Now, here's the thing. Ashley would say in the confessionals, Stacey showing us a text exchange showing that she never hit up Chris Samuels. Does she not know that we know that text can be deleted? Yes, they can, but context can't be. Because Chris Samuels sends Stacey a image of her on the cover of a magazine, tells her she looks beautiful, and then says, why aren't you responding? Ashley, baby, if a man says, why aren't you responding, doesn't that prove that she didn't respond? Unless the timestamps are 5 days apart, if he says, you look pretty, and then says, why aren't you responding, what deleted text are you referring to? If she had deleted text, he wouldn't be saying, why aren't you responding? Am I crazy, y'all? And then the very next thing after that Stacey shows the text says is, why do I keep hearing that y'all are making me a topic on set? Is that something that you would write to someone who is feeding you information? Wouldn't it be, hey, you got some more tea? So yes, Ashley, text can be deleted, but the context of those texts are saying the opposite. Again, guys, Stacey is not always honest, but she's also not fucking stupid. Do I believe that Stacey might have had conversations with Chris Samuels that were on the phone? Maybe, sure. But the text thing, that didn't make sense to me. So Klarna gets up and leaves because she realizes that Stacey's not going to have no conversation with her around, right? And Stacey shows the text, and that Chris is harassing her, and says that he's annoyed that she's not answering, and the text show his annoyance. So for once, Stacey's telling the truth, right? Wendy goes over the suspects for who's been feeding Chris Samuels information. If it isn't Stacey, I love this bit of editing because I love Wendy's confessionals because Wendy is smart, but Wendy also has learned from watching Gizelle and Karen how to put on a show, right? First season, Wendy thought she was just going to be smart, and that shit didn't work. Second season, she thought she was going to have friends. That didn't work. This season, she figured it out. So Wendy's like, now hold on, y'all. If it wasn't Stacey who's been feeding this information to Chris Samuels, then who was it? And she brilliantly points out, number one, it could have just been Cookie, and Cookie is hiding. Somebody said Wendy skipped Ashley. What does that mean, my love? Ashley's, I don't understand. They will truly say anything to make Stacey look the villain. I don't know what you mean by Wendy skipped Ashley. My bad, guys. That just caught my attention. So Wendy's like, so it could be Cookie because Cookie just wants a moment. Plausible. It could be Angel. And I was like, excuse me, Wendy? What do you mean it could be Angel? She was like, remember, when Angel first found out that Monique was married to Chris Samuels, she made it a point to say Chris Samuels used to mentor her husband. I was like, oh yeah, Wendy skipped Ashley as a suspect. Yeah, because Ashley would be proud of it because Ashley would actually have a storyline. Wendy knows that if Ashley had a real storyline like that, she would have already shared it. So I think... So she's like, wait a minute. Angel made a big point about how her husband was mentored by Chris Samuels. How do we know it's not Angel who's saying it? Or how do we know it's not Klarna and Angel who are using it as they come up on Stacey's back because they recognize that Stacey is low on the totem pole? Or it could be Gizelle because Gizelle has the history of fabricating drama around people's husbands. She went down the list. It was amazing. So the reason why I didn't do a recap that week is because I thought the episodes were going to pick up from Wendy trying to figure out who the mole was. Child, it didn't. It didn't pick up from that. It didn't pick up from that at all. In fact, it picked up with Gizelle meeting with Wendy at a car dealership because Gizelle is thinking about getting a new vehicle, a new electric car, because she cares about carbon footprints, even though she doesn't know how to pronounce it. And Wendy walks into the car dealership in episode 10. That was just episode 9, guys. And they're talking, and Gizelle says something about Stacey, and Wendy's like, why does Stacey bother you so much? And Giselle's like, because she's a liar and a husband stealer, even though I ain't got no husband to steal. And Wendy says something that makes me giddy. She says, yeah, Stacey lies, like a lot, but she's fun and it's harmless. I like her. I'm going to tell y'all something right now that I said on Carlos King's show. I believe that Stacey and Wendy have the opportunity, if they join forces, to be the new HBICs next season if Wendy's not arrested. Stacey and Wendy's friendship is the most unexpected and delicious treat that this franchise has seen in a very long time. Two tall bitches who are educated, likable, and don't give a fuck about these ladies. I pray to God that they are going to Spa World right now for a girls' night as we speak. I hope to God that they are cultivating their friendships. Dustin told me that they do after shows together. Stacey and Wendy's friendship is the only thing that could dethrone Gizelle. I'm kind of fucking here for it. So the fact that Gizelle has had to call a truce with Wendy because she realized that Wendy's a formidable opponent, but now Wendy is starting to feel a kinship to Stacey even after Stacey stole her husband's brand, because Wendy's thinking, bitch, my husband's brand is called Happy Eddie. You called your same brand of products, edibles, Shayo, which is Nigerian for joy and or happy. So not only did you steal his business, you stole his name and just put it in our native tongue. That's some wild shit, but it's good content. I get it. Somebody said the new freaking frack. Yes. I love when a smart bitch is in on the joke. I'm telling y'all, because we know the girls be watching all the fucking shows that we do. For any of the Real Housewives of Potomac girls who I actually like and who aren't mad at me yet and haven't cussed me out watching this, please tell Wendy. Please tell Wendy and Stacey they need to join forces. Please, 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 please. Y'all don't understand. It's been a long time since I've seen a formidable, like a duo that could be this impactful and this delicious and this entertaining. Because usually when we have a duo that is impactful, they're doing it in a way that we hate, like the Green Eyed Bandits, or they end up falling out. The fact that everything that's supposed to make you fall out has already preemptively happened. Wendy and Stacey argued before the friendship. So there's like no like concern. They see each other. You see what I'm saying? So yes, guys, I'm a big fan of the Wendy and Stacey thing. Let's play more of the audience reactions because I think I've just caught us up.
Absolutely nothing. You don't even know Monique. Please, in the words of Stacey, go chase after Greg. Monique said this, I don't know what to believe, but I don't mess with my ex-husband. I don't mess with Cookie Monster, and I don't mess with Charisse. And if that is your source, I would be cautious and I would tread lightly with those three people.
Oh my God, I love that. So they've been eating the girls up. Okay, y'all can make me watch the fucking after show. Y'all happy? Where's the after show? It's on Peacock as well, right? I'm gonna start now that I know that Wendy and Stacey have joined forces on the after show. That's going to make me watch the after show. That alone.
And that's all she had to say. Enough already. Y'all got to find something else to talk about. Now, when Wendy's mama started screaming, Wendy got the budget, and how much she enjoys spending her daughter's money, child, my stomach done fell to my ass. Because are they gonna use that in court? What did you think of this week's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac, and whose side are you on? Team Nigeria or team everybody else? Let me know in the comments. Bye.
Don't lie, you already know I'm team Nigeria because you know.
No one can convince me that Kiarna, Angel, and maybe even Jazzy didn't sit in their basement and study Real Housewives.
You can tell that they study Real Housewives because some of the shit that they do is fan behavior. I feel like Angel is a big Gizelle fan, and that's why she's being so fucking weird about ignoring all the times that Gizelle has attacked her. You can't convince me otherwise.
Or actually becoming a Real Housewife. The way that they try to read other housewives unnecessarily, fake problems or issues that they try to make with other castmates, and that like overall just stench of being fake feels very rehearsed. Of course, we know that all reality TV is pretty much staged. It's like they constantly try to inauthentically have a moment about stuff that's not worth having a moment about. You can't even say that it's like a new housewife thing because Stacey and Tia don't act like that. I'm quite sure if we were to see Stacey or Tia on the street, they would act exactly the same way they act on TV.
I love me some Wendy. Wendy is, me and Wendy, when we
guys, I haven't seen any of these clips, but I just scanned them for anything weird. So we're watching these fresh together.
We first met my last season, like season 5. We hit it off like right away the first time that we met. And it was.
Thank you. Great point. Great point. Being on QVC is like learning how to be a battle rapper or how to freestyle. Everything is happening on the fly. As somebody who's done live television, you gotta be a quick bitch. You know that Marlo Hampton thing today drained me. I was auditioning to be on a Black news broadcast, and they didn't tell me when I went to audition that my audition would be to read a teleprompter live on TV. My audition was me being on TV. It wasn't like what's happening in a private room. It was like live. I was like, oh shit, you want me to just like do it right now? And so I had to do it, and I only had like 20 minutes notice. That day, I slept for 12 hours when I got home. The amount of focus you need to have to be on live television in any capacity is so heightened. The fact that Stacey is so iconic on QVC, I think Detroit and QVC is why Stacey is so perfect for Bravo.
It's nice because seeing her again, it was almost like, okay, let's see if we can pick up where we left off. Like before the fight and all of this stuff, you know? So, and that was her first season. So there was a lot happening, you know, for people that are newbies and things like that. Like, there was a lot that was going on. And then there's a lot you have to get adjusted to when you're new to the franchise. So
no, honey, you're not getting Gizelle's appeal. The things you don't like are the things that are her appeal for people like Angel. Gizelle is an AKA with light eyes and light hair has a conventionally attractive appearance and nice body and was first lady of a church and knows what it's like to be next to a powerful man. The sorority mean girl thing that you think is the lack of appeal actually is the appeal. People who like that like Gizelle. So you're perceiving her correctly. You just don't like what you see, and they do. So there's no confusion, babe. I promise you. I tell people this all the time. People love and loathe Gizelle Bryant for the exact same reasons.
We never really got to get to know each other, but the first initial vibe was vibing, you know? So, but yeah, I love Wendy. She's cool people.
A lot of heat is on Stacey because Stacey don't care.
Now, I'm posting these clips because even Monique is admitting now in interviews that she really likes Stacey and Wendy. And the fact that they are spending this entire season, 10 episodes, guys. We are 10 fucking episodes in. And they spent the entire season trying to get Monique to hate Stacey. And Stacey is standing, and Monique is standing over Stacey with the rest of us. The very woman you've been using as an excuse to attack Stacey after this season is a Stacey fan. You want to talk about a failure?
She really doesn't care. It's magical. She's great TV. She really is. I enjoy watching her. She's funny. She's beautiful. And it's just funny to watch how they make these big deals and they come at her with from little stuff to major stuff. And she's just like, okay.
Look at this. Angel, Klarna, Afterpay. Are you not embarrassed? You banked your entire season on using this woman as a shield to attack Stacey, and she is on a couch with two of her Judies kikiing about how iconic Stacey is. Are you not fucking embarrassed?
All right, so.
Or just like pointing.
Yeah.
When she pointed her finger and kept pointing her finger, that was great.
Am I the only one who sees Stacey's hero shots walking in and wonder how tall she is?
Well, by the way, girls and boys, a lot of y'all always freak out. A lot of y'all freak out when you find out I'm 5'9". I didn't know that me sitting here gave you short. I've been seeing this when I've been watching the chats back. Some of y'all be like, oh my gosh, she's 5'9". I have a long torso. So I always thought that I sat tall because I have a long torso. My ex, who was like 6'3", when we would sit down, we were the same height. So the fact that so many of you always seem so stunned to find out that I'm not a short girl. I'm also not a tall girl because tall starts at 5'10". Argue with your mother. This is not going to be another dark skin, light skin, mid-tone thing. I don't think 5'9" is tall. I think 5'9" is above average. I think 5'10" is tall. Like my old podcast co-host Lulu. Lulu's 5'10". Lulu is tall, right? 5'9". I'm actually 5'8 3/4. I think 5'8 3/4 is not tall. I'm sorry. It's above average. When I meet people who are 5'7" who call themselves tall, I just stare. Okay. Right? Be who you are. So people freak out when they find out I'm 5'9". And it's so interesting. I started to wonder, how tall are these ladies? Because Ashley gives short, Stacey gives tall, Klarna gives short. I don't know what the fuck Angel gives. I feel like she's always running away somewhere crying. But I found this woman who actually talked about, I just put in like a bunch of keywords around height and lucked out. Somebody actually did make a video. Somebody says, I'm just 5'6", wishing she was 5'9". Y'all are funny. All right, so you guys, I'm going to ask you guys, who do you think is the tall? I'm going to put the chat back up here. Who do you think, because I want to see some guesses before we do the reveal. Who do you think is the tallest housewife, guys? Let's play a little game. Who do you think is the tallest housewives of Potomac? And for those who are watching the recap, this is the part where I want you to put your guess in the comments before you see the answer. Be honest. Who do you think is the tallest of the housewives? Somebody said, no, the Potomac housewives. All right. Somebody said Wendy, not Uba. That's a different show, but Uba is tall because she's a model. And somebody said Stacey. All right. So it looks like everybody's saying that they think Wendy and Stacey are the tallest housewives. Who do y'all think are the shortest housewives? For those who know the answer, please don't spoil. No spoilers, please. Who do y'all think are the shortest housewives? Who do y'all think of? So we know Stacey and Wendy seem like the front runners for tallest. Somebody said you think Gizelle is the tallest. Oh, that's an interesting one. Gizelle gives me medium. Somebody said Candace, but she's not on this season. Somebody said Ashley. Yeah, I for some reason Kay and Ashley. Okay, so we're on the same page. Oh, Ashley and Jazzy. Jazzy gives me a little bit short too. So I assumed that Wendy and Stacey would be the tallest, and that Ashley and Klarna would be the shortest. Let's see if we're right. Let's watch this.
In at 5'5" is new and old housewife Monique. Wendy, 5'6".
Wait a minute. Y'all know I'm telling y'all that I was clipping shit and not watching it. Monique is being 5'5" does not shock me. Wendy is 5'6". Huh? Wendy, bitch, you stand tall, my love. Wendy being 5'6". Wendy, you got the second most votes behind Stacey, and Stacey has the legs to her fucking ears. Wendy is 5'6". I thought Wendy was taller than Gizelle. I thought Gizelle was like 5'7", and Wendy was like 5'9", like my height. 5'6"? Yeah, Monique being 5'5" doesn't surprise me. Okay, Wendy, that just shows you how that Nigerian, royalty energy that you give, it really does make you seem taller.
Ashley Darby, 5'8".
Wait, Ashley is taller than Wendy? And guys, again, don't Google it and then rush to spoil it. We don't do that here because it's hater behavior. There's no world where I would have thought that Wendy was 5'6" and Ashley was 5'8". Y'all saying this can't be right. After we're done playing the game, then I'm gonna ask y'all to fact check it because this is fucking with me. After we play the game, okay? Keep it fun, but when the game is over, I do want you to fact check it because this is fucking with my brain a little bit.
At 5'9", Gizelle. And
me and Gizelle, wait a minute. Me and Gizelle, you're right. Ashley has a short torso. Ashley looks like a frog standing on its hind legs. I'm not being rude. I'm just being descriptive. Gizelle and I are both this. Okay, wow. Okay, Gizelle being 5'9" with green eyes and blonde wigs and conventionally attractive. Yeah, she's the Regina George. I will say this, guys. If you are something, being that something and being tall heightens it. Yeah, like people think I have a very fun big personality, something that I have a very bitchy big personality. It's all true, whatever. I do recognize that me being 5'9" barefoot and then me putting on heels a lot of times when I go out, whatever y'all think I am sitting down, it does feel like more when I'm standing up, right? It does feel like more. So Gizelle being 5'9", okay. That does explain a lot. Okay, interesting.
Stacey, who I was dying to know how tall she is 6 feet.
Stacey is 6 feet tall? I'm not surprised. It's just the fact that Stacey is 6 feet and Wendy is 5'6" is fucking with me. Okay, now that we played the game, somebody said, no, I wasn't trying to be offensive. See, this is me being matter of fact. This is the tism. She quite literally, I had a friend who once drew a picture of a frog standing up. And then when I saw Ashley, okay, sorry. I'm really not trying to be shady. This is me being descriptive. One thing you have to realize about people who are high functioning autistic is sometimes when y'all think that we're doing masterful shade, we're really just being accurately descriptive and not like clocking the emotional impact. So I apologize for that. My bad. But Gizelle being 3 inches taller than Wendy, and Wendy being damn near half a foot short. No, a full half foot. Wendy's a half a foot shorter than Stacey. Okay, y'all can y'all please fact check because that's fucking with my brain a little bit. Can y'all fact check? Please fact check. All right, let's continue watching the video. Yeah, here's the thing. I thought Gizelle was 5'8", so I'm only off by an inch. I thought Stacey was 5'10" though. 6 feet, and Stacey wears heels, which means, oh my God. Well,
always said Candace got the ass whooping that Monique really was about to give Gizelle.
That's true. I've only heard this one sentence, so I hope he doesn't say anything crazy to embarrass me afterwards. I didn't have time to vet all the clips this week. But knowing how much Monique could not stand Gizelle, and even in this newest episode, she said, Gizelle used to, actually, I wrote the quote. Why do I have to paraphrase? Actually, you guys, I got so pulled away, ADHD, by the height thing. I forgot that I have fucking notes. Let's get back to episode 10. Because I still can't believe that Stacey is a half a foot taller than Wendy. That's wild. All right, episode 10, right? Gizelle and Wendy meet up at the car dealership, have that moment of talking. And while they're talking, Gizelle says that she and Monique need to have a chat to clear the air if Monique's going to be around because it's been 5 years. Wendy mentions that she's aware that Stacey is nuts, but still likes her. I already went over that. And Gizelle says, well, she's not entertained by Stacey. And like Klarna, she's worried that Stacey will steal the husband that she doesn't have. Oh, Blue. Oh, shit. Those are my notes. Y'all, I'm not being petty. My notes actually says that just like Klarna, Gizelle is worried that, well, at least I'm consistent, right? So that's the conversation that Wendy and Gizelle have while Giselle's driving around this car that nobody believes she's going to buy. And while they're also driving, they start talking about, they make a joke like, oh, I'm going to be like Karen, because Karen's always trying to, drive fast. I'm thinking, bitch, Karen went to jail for a DUI. Maybe don't miss her and her fast driving. While you're driving a car, and it's the thing that put her in jail. Yeah, that moment was odd. I could tell they were sincerely missing Karen. They're like, oh, we miss Karen, but getting behind this wheel of the car and going really fast. And I was like, oh, either that's a dark joke or it's a blind spot that neither of you clocked, but okay, because people could have died in a DUI. So they're like, yeah, we miss Karen. And let me see if there's any notes about that. They just miss Karen, and they are talking about how they wish that she could be put out because she's done enough time, right? So while Wendy and Gizelle are driving fast in the car, missing Karen, because that's not tone deaf at all. The very next scene, though, somebody said, not so too fast. Y'all are so dark. The very next scene is then we see that Stacey is meeting up with her good Judy, AJ. And AJ, I love him. He needs to come back. AJ is her good Judy. For those who don't know the language, that's just your good male, gay male bestie. And she meets him at this cafe, and she says to AJ that she's excited that she's about to make history as the first Black woman in Virginia to own a cannabis business. That's actually epic. I've always wanted to own a cannabis business. For those who don't know, I have incredibly bad, excruciating cramps. And after years of medicine, at 30 years old, I partook in marijuana for the first time regularly. I had tried it once with my first love when I was like 25. But at 30, I said, I think my ex told me that marijuana could work, and it's changed my life. So a lot of y'all, when you hear me mention edibles or legally tamed marijuana, it's quite literally medicine for me. So that's why I can't be shamed about it, because there have been times that I've only been able to go on live because I took an edible and it was able to stop the pain. So Stacey being the first Black woman in Virginia to start a cannabis business is huge, because for those who don't know about this, and I might do a video about this on 420, the only reason that marijuana was made illegal in America was racism. And that's not speculation. The people who were working with the president at the time have admitted it. So I'm not going to get too much into that. But marijuana is only illegal because the government wanted to find a way to put nonviolent Black protesters in jail. And the only way you could do that was by making the drug that they use to help with their anxiety illegal. So knowing that all the anti-Black marijuana laws in the United States of America are very literally an act of anti-Blackness. And Virginia is Black as fuck, but also racist as fuck. For Stacey to be the first Black woman in Virginia to run a cannabis business actually is a really big deal. Yeah, she stole it from Eddie, but it's objectively a big deal. And I'm going to tell you, you're like, oh, you just saying that because you love Stacey. No, even if Angel had done it, I'd be like, Angel got to win. Even if Angel, in her fake Maya Angelou voice and her word of the day dictionary entries, even if she had done this, I would have underscored how big of a deal it is, okay? As someone who understands the history of cannabis laws in this country, I immediately started clapping, right? And so Stacey was like, hey, I'm hurt that I'm making history, and these girls don't want to be happy for me, but we all showed up to a function because Gizelle got 10 million downloads of people hate listening to her and Robin's podcast. Because a big percentage of the podcast listeners for Reasonably Shady are people who want to gather tea for blogs about them. As somebody who just got a win from hate watching, I'm not judging it, I'm just perceiving. Yeah? So I'm like, wait a minute, we can clap for 10 million downloads that are probably 50% hate watch, but we can't clap for this woman making history. It made me a little bit sad. No, Wendy doesn't own Happy Eddie. That's why it wasn't Wendy. Happy Eddie is Eddie's business. Wendy was annoyed that Stacey stole from her husband, but Stacey didn't steal from Wendy. Which, I mean, even Stacey and her shenanigans has a code of ethics, I guess. So she's talking to AJ about it. And I love that AJ says, hold on, I want to pull it up. AJ says, y'all old asses need to stop it. That's dumb. Put your foot down, Stacey, and check them. Let me tell you, there is nothing like being in a room or an ecosystem of people who have you convinced that you're not her. And then you go and talk to your reasonable friend who loves you, and they remind you who the fuck you are. AJ needs to come back more often. Okay, maybe Bravo needs to hire me to tell them what the fans want. We need to center Wendy and Stacey and have AJ be a reoccurring character. And also Klarna's fine-ass brother, just so we can look at him. Because Greg is rough visually, right? If you're going to have Klarna around, can you have her brother be there instead of Greg? Just a request, right? So AJ is like, bitch, do you know who the fuck you are? You're from Detroit. Stop fucking playing. She's just like, nigga, you right. I honestly felt like I was watching somebody like hype up Mike Tyson. Because my God, today, Stacey, if this is who you are when you forgot who you are, who you about to be when you remember? And she did not disappoint. All right, let's watch some more. There's other stuff that happened to other people, but y'all, I don't know. This episode 10, showed that people don't really have storylines. I'll just say that.
Candace just kept on talking, and so Candace wound up getting it. I love that Monique was able to sit down and have a real ass grown up woman conversation with Gizelle.
Oh, let's get into the conversation with Gizelle. So the next scene after AJ reminds Stacey who the fuck she is, we then see Sotheby's. Tia's at Sotheby's. Now, you guys know I love Tia. I was just back in the UK in June. Y'all know I love London. When I win the lottery or some shit, I might get me a cute little studio apartment in London and go there more often. I really love London. And fun fact, London is as far from Boston, where my family is, as LA is. Boston, where my family is the midpoint between LA and London. So if I was to ever move to London part-time, I'd be no further than I am now living in LA. Just saying. All right. Hello, governor. Actually, no, that's not a good accent. I'll never do that again. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to start saying brekkie and pissing off my British supporters. But we see Tia, who I love because I stand for a very fabulous but slightly cunty, like British girl, a Black British girl. I love me a Black British girl who seems like she actually likes herself. Why is that? Because you only have to be in London for about 72 minutes before you see 18 commercials that convince you that Black women are not popping. All of the British shows, I love London, but I find it a hard time watching reality TV in London because all the shows are biracial and dark as night, sexy chocolate Black men who have somehow forgotten that Black women are an option. The anti-Blackness in the UK is loud, which is why my UK friends said, no, we don't have racism like you guys. Yeah, because ours is like a bludgeon over the head. Yours gets spoon-fed with applesauce. It's all kind of the same. One could argue the applesauce is more dangerous because you consume it every day, right? So the anti-Blackness in London is so pronounced to someone like me that whenever I see a dark-skinned Black woman from London who sincerely loves her Blackness, I get very fucking excited because, bitch, you are beating the odds, okay? It took all of my education to leave the UK still liking myself the first time I went. I was like, am I invisible? Do you not? So Black women don't. And mind you, y'all know how much I love Estelle. One of your best exports is a dark-skinned Black woman. So I'm just like, what's wrong with y'all? All those soul singers who you love, there's two types of soul singers that I love in London. The one that's the racially ambiguous one, but has like that Amy Winehouse soul. Shout out to Ray and the people of that ilk. And then there's people like Estelle and a bunch of dark-skinned women who are amazing singers and soulful and who probably get a lot of love in America, but I can see why they left, right? And so the UK is so tricky that seeing a woman who looks like Tia seems so well-adjusted. Oh, I'll tell Estelle you love her. Oh, me and Estelle and Bridget and our friend London, we went, I treated the girls to a light show because I wanted to have like a thank you because you know when you have your friends who have your back, You want to thank them for being amazing friends. So we went to a light show. Bridget found the light show. I got us some tickets. Estelle in London brought the vibes, and we were frolicking. And y'all know how I do. It was VIP tickets. I was not going to get us regular ass fucking tickets. The VIP tickets came with drinks and like something else. Child, we got so fucking lit. I might cut the video and share it as a short. We were running through the light show with light bulb drinks, having us a time. And they were playing trap Christmas music. Yes, actually, I'm going to show the video. Bridget, Kelly, and Estelle singing the DMX Christmas carols while me and London are twerking in the background, drinking out of a light bulb. I might have to share that video. Anyways, guys, back to London. I love Tia because probably now that I'm talking, I realize, oh my God, I love Tia because she reminds me of Estelle. Oh my God, I'm having an epiphany. So I love Tia, and I was so sad about Tia and old girl Stacey. I'm like, why are my two faves fighting? Stop, just kiss, like two Barbie dolls, just kiss, right? So I was so sad about Tia and Stacey fighting. So when we see Tia's montage, she's in Sotheby's. And she's at Sotheby's, and she's talking about how her dad growing up was very rich. I want to make sure that I stunt her daddy correctly because I do love Tia, and I want to give her flowers, even though I'm not on her side with the Stacey thing. Y'all are gonna be shocked. I think Tia actually doesn't have as much emotional intelligence as I thought, and I think Stacey has more emotional intelligence than I thought. I know a lot of y'all are shocked. That's my take. I get it. So Tia shares that she was raised rich in the 80s and went to school with Sting's daughter and lived next door to Boy George. For those who don't know, Boy George was like a big deal. Very, 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 very big deal. Okay. So somebody said, not y'all getting excited. We had a Holly. Okay, y'all are making me feel like I really do need to share more vlogs. We be having the time, child. So Tia is sharing about how she comes from this very rich family in the 80s. Unfortunately, though, like a lot of immigrants who make a lot of money who are finally feeling like they've broken a generational curse, the one thing is learning how to make money is one thing, learning how to keep it is something else. And she admits that because her father didn't have enough business acumen and made some bad investments, by the 90s, they were regular. Okay? So they was rich as fuck in the 80s, but by the 90s, they were regular. In the words of a old Black woman who I saw on the Oprah Winfrey show in the 90s as a child who only made $18,000 a year but died a millionaire, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. I'm going to repeat that for the girls who want to treat themselves this Christmas and are going to be crying on Terror Tuesday in January about how they ain't got no money left. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. If my salary is $250K a year, but I spend $240K of it, and your salary is $100K a year, and you save 20 of it, which one of us actually has more money? Think about that. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. Whoever has the widest profit margin is actually the richer person, regardless of how much money they make. That's why so many times I've told you rich and famous are two separate words. I have friends who have made millions of dollars who, because of lack of money management, I'm paying for the drinks, right? Millions, 7 figures. So guys, don't be glamored by how much money somebody makes. Think about, but what are their spending habits? Yeah, what are their spending habits? And I love that Tia shared that. Because Tia, being this beautiful woman who has this regal energy, it'd be easy for her to pull a Gizelle and pretend that she's rich. It'd be easy for her to be like, yes, I'm so posh. She's like, nah, nigga, I'm just learning at my big age how to save money. I really love that moment, which again is why how the episode ended with Tia getting her ass whooped made me sad. Anyways, so Tia has that moment. And then after she shares that with us, she walks out and hits up Stacey and says, hey, Stacey, I'm coming to your event. I want to support, but I'm angry with you. And Stacey says, yes, I'm upset with you as well. I would love to talk about it. Thanks for calling. Have a great day. Let me tell you, I don't know what kind of edibles Stacey has. If Stacey's edibles can make me as calm as Stacey, I might be ordering Shire. In fact, Stacey, if you need an ambassador, a woman who takes edibles medicinally and has been caping for you all season, I'm just saying. I'm your consumer. If taking Stacey's edibles will make me respond to life like Stacey, I might need me some of that. This girl called you and said, bitch, we got beef, but I'm still showing up to your event. And you said, good talk. Can't wait to see you. Let's talk later. I almost feel like whenever I want to imitate Stacey, my blood pressure goes down. So Stacey is now like, yeah, bitch, pull up. I know punk ass bitch. And now I'm thinking, damn, I don't think Tia understands. Tia is talking as if she is sternly about to wag her finger at Stacey for being a bad girl, not knowing that Stacey's a goon and her best friend just reminded her who she was. The entire time I'm watching that phone call, I'm like, Tia, you in danger, girl. Tia, you in danger. They only saw them in Virginia. Wait a minute. I'm going to be on the Estelle and oh guys, I want to shout. Speaking of Virginia, I want to shout out my friends. Estelle and Tidra Moses are going to be performing in the DMV area. I think it's going to be at Howard Theater on December 21st. Pull up if you can. Okay, if you're in the DMV area, I was thinking about going, but y'all, I'm so tired. I might just stay in Boston and sleep. I was thinking about doing a day trip, but if I don't do the day trip, just know that there are still tickets. If you want to see Estelle and Tidra, it's an amazing show. And you're in the DMV area, buy tickets. Okay, plug is over. Sorry, I just had to put that out there. So if next time I'm in Virginia, I will make sure to do that. So I'm looking like, Tia, bitch, you don't know who you're messing with. Now here's the thing that's interesting, and I'll touch more on this later. I think that Tia does not fully understand that just because Stacey is persona non grata doesn't mean that Stacey is at the bottom of the totem pole. Oh, you love Tidra? Aw. Like, y'all know that showing love to my friends makes me like, don't do that. I'm going to get distracted, but I appreciate it. I'm going to put it on the screen anyways. Oh, you just might pull up. I mean, I might be there. I'm not even going to hold you. So I'm just like, Tia, I can tell that you being invited to the Angel clique to talk shit about Stacey, I don't think you realize you're in danger. Okay, this is going to be unfortunate because I can already tell where this is about to go. So we're done with that scene of Tia thinking that she's setting up to scold Stacey. And Ashley then has a scene where she goes to Dave and Buster's or some shit to break up with that white boy she went on a couple of dates with. That's the moment when it confirms to me that outside of just being a hater and trying to get Monique and Stacey to fight, Ashley really has no storyline. She broke up with this little white boy and he was like, oh, okay. And what's funny is he looks like her son. Ashley went from dating men who look like her father, from marrying men who look like her father, to dating men who look like her sons. The Oedipus is loud. It's real loud. I was like, Ashley, why he look like Dean? Like, what's going on? Your kid looks, even with the same curly. Anyways, so Ashley breaks up with this boy and makes it a point of saying, I like to date men who are swanky and have me in private jets, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cared. I actually left the room for a little bit and was listening to it because I was bored. Does anybody else fast forward Ashley's scenes, or is it just me? Because the only time we see Ashley with a man is when she is wasting his time or using him for money or standing outside her father's house begging him to come out and watching him not. I'm not making that up. That's really what happened, guys. Every man, play a game. Every time you see Ashley with a man on the show, it's either a man whose time she's wasting, a man whose check she wants, or her daddy who won't come outside. Those are her only storylines with men. And yet the show is called Real Housewives. Again, we're taking liberties with the title. We're taking liberties with the title, okay? Not y'all saying, oh my fucking God, am I wrong? This is factually accurate, guys, okay? So Ashley has that scene with that boy that nobody cares about. And then we fast forward to the scene that everybody built up and was disappointed by. Monique opens up to Gizelle. Monique and Gizelle have a lunch to hash it out. That clearing the air scene happens. And what did I write as my notes? Because it was a little anticlimactic. Monique and Gizelle meet for lunch to clear the air. And Monique says, back in the day, I used to think Gizelle was a hater who was miserable and liked to pick on people. Well, Monique, not much has changed. She opens up to Gizelle about how her healing journey has caused her to change and how she can now take accountability for her actions and make peace with everything but the show. She said, I've healed everything, my marriage, everything else. But like, the one thing I haven't made peace with is with the show. That's why I'm back. I'm back because I haven't made peace with how things went down on the show. Gizelle is clearly defensive, expecting a fight, and is taken aback by how reasonable Monique is being. Gizelle being Gizelle, still throws in a couple of jabs because she wouldn't be Gizelle if she didn't. But all things considered, I would give Monique an A- on the emotional intelligence scale, and I would give Gizelle a C. I would give Gizelle a C because she lives at a D, and she was better than normal. So that's a C, math, right? I would give Monique an A- because Monique was being emotionally intelligent, but she was also being incredibly manipulative and strategic. Now, I'm using the word manipulative in the purest sense, not in the negative connotation. Monique wants to be back on the show. She now has watched Gizelle since they fell out all those years ago and understands the game now, right? She understands the game. She's watched Michelle. She's watched Gizelle and Wendy figure out the game, and now she's like, tap me in, coach. So do I believe Monique had a healing journey? Absolutely. It's really fucking obvious. There's certain things Monique was saying with sincerity that you could only say with that level of sincerity, having actually walked the walk. And though she got mouths to feed. And she knows that her and Gizelle calling a nice, nasty truce gives her the opportunity to come back on the show for another season. So I gave her an A- because an A because she had high emotional intelligence, minus because she was using it for personal gain in a way that one could arguably and objectively call manipulative, but not malicious. Okay, it was manipulative and strategic, but not malicious, and that's an A-. An A would have been if it was like a pure plea for some sort of whatever. I don't think them ladies are ever gonna like each other. But in the words of whoever said it, no, Nene Leakes, we see each other. Right? When Nene and Candy had that moment, we see each other. I think this was a more boring, less explosive version of that, where Monique was like, Gizelle, you're being petty, bitch. I'm trying to call a truce, bitch. I'm trying to get us across the finish line so we could do this show together. And you can see Gizelle's like, oh shit, yeah, cool. Kumbaya, my bad. So they call a gentleman's truce. I don't think they're friends. I do not see. I think the reason why Monique can see Stacey and Wendy so clearly and be so tickled by them is because she's not trying to be Gizelle's friend. I don't think anybody who sincerely was trying to be Gizelle's friend would be so publicly giddy about Stacey and Wendy. Just my personal opinion. Yes, bend the knee. Gizelle hasn't. I actually wrote that in my notes. Gizelle hasn't changed. Monique has. I 100% agree. So, why is my mouth so dry today? Am I dehydrated? You guys, let me stop and drink some water. I feel like my mouth is dehydrated. Let me pull in the water bottle. Hold on. In fact, I'm going to pour water while this man keeps talking, so I'm going to have him watch the baby. Hold on.
Despite all of the history that they've had. Now, granted, it's been 5 years, and it's like hindsight, you know, you look at it from a different angle over that time, especially if you're on a healing journey like Monique has been. And Gizelle has had several situations since then to like cause her to also grow too as a woman.
Great.
Monique was able to say, listen, I had my part in it. And I understand and had to realize that, like, my issue with you was you kept poking at my marriage. And I was very sensitive at that time about my marriage. And you kept calling my husband names and talking about me cheating and all this other stuff and starting all these rumors. And that's what really led to my issue with you. Even when Gizelle tried to, like, back up out of it, Monique said, no. You had a part in it, too. She was able to hold Gizelle, you know, feet to the fire for the stuff that Gizelle did.
Oh, by the way, Monica said she and Candace don't need to make peace. She's moved on. She said she forgave him for a distance, but Monica said that she doesn't see her and Candace ever speaking.
With realizing where a lot of her anger took place from and what caused it. That's how you know she really did the work as a grown-up woman who was on a healing journey like she said she was. I always felt like Gizelle hated Monique from the time Monique walked in. Gizelle hated Monique.
When Monique said she had several houses, it was a wrap. I do believe the several houses comment was what created that spark of envy that turned into disdain that Gizelle had for Monique.
You will never get me to not believe that. Gizelle hated Monique from the whole I have 4 homes thing. Oh, Gizelle was not liking it. But Candace, that day in the barn, Candace was poking at freaking Monique. And Monique always said, like, she feel like she's putting everything in a box and putting it on the shelf. And one of these days, that shelf going to break and everything going to come crumbling down. And that was the day everything broke. Like, Monique was at her limit. And Candace would not be quiet. Not saying Candace deserved it, but I see how it happened because I love me some Candace now. But the truth is Candace was not backing down, and Monique had reached her limit. And I always say, like, when you are getting into an argument with somebody, y'all at some point in time, one person gotta be willing to walk away, or else a fight is gonna break out. If one person say something to escalate the situation, and the other person say something to over jump what they just said, at some point in time, it's gonna hit the roof.
By the way, I am always, not always, about 90% of the time, I'm the one who's willing to like diffuse it. Now, why am I sharing that? The other 10%, because I'm usually the one who's willing to diffuse it, and my friends know no matter how mad Blue gets, no matter how hype Blue gets, if we're reasonable, she'll listen. All my friends know that even if I get hype, if you're reasonable, I'll listen. When I say fuck reason, I'm taking a cheat meal, my friends know to stop. Because I'm known for being spicy but reasonable. When I say I don't give a fuck, they let me have it. Even someone who's reasonable 90% of the time, when I say, bitch, I don't want to hear none of that shit, fuck her. And so I'm saying this, guys, even those of you who pride yourself on being even killed, you have to let yourself have cheat meals. If you don't have cheat meals, you become a powder keg like Monique. You have to have cheat meals. It's like good bacteria.
And when it hit the roof, it's nothing to do but fight. So if you don't want to fight, you gotta hold it. But I love this.
I should have never told you about the police being called on me. And I'm never living that down. My heavens.
To see that they was able to work it out 5 years later and apologize for their parts. Real Housewives of Potomac, this was my favorite, scene this episode.
So you guys built this whole scenario up in the trailer between Monique and Gizelle having this sit down, only to cut out most of everything that Gizelle even said.
Yeah, I heard that on Watch What Happened Live. Monique shared that Gizelle actually apologized and they never showed it. Because the entire time I'm like, Monique apologized, what's Giselle's apology? So producers, you've been doing a great job, but that was definitely a fumble.
Because watching the scene, it very much looks like Giselle's barely taking accountability, and she's almost looking to Monique to give her an apology and take all this accountability. And Monique said on Watch What Happens Live that Gizelle actually did take a lot of accountability and apologize for a number of things that she played a role in doing. So it's odd that they would want to edit Gizelle in a way that continues to make her look like she doesn't apologize or really take any accountability. I feel like the editors are really trying to mess with us, because showing us Wendy trying to purchase some Happy Eddie and then not knowing what debit card pin goes with this particular card and then getting...
That is rough. Wendy not being able to keep her debit card straight. Oh, y'all so messy.
Really nervous and then excited that the transaction went through. And last week, you really wanted us to see that she was doing all these home renovations, like you couldn't have scaled some of that back. Greg met up with Kay's mom and Angel, who I'm not sure why she's even here.
There's a scene, I'm not going to talk about it too much because it's not worth it. There's a scene where Greg meets up with Klarna's mom and Angel at a jewelry store to look at jewelry that none of us believe he's going to buy. They're trying to make their storyline now that Angel was going to help Greg get an engagement ring to propose. But how about they walk out of there with nothing?
To drink champagne and pretend that Greg is actually going to spend anywhere near $120,000 to $180,000.
You're looking at $180,000 rings. Greg, you look respectfully like you got that outfit out of the clearance rack at Marshall's. And I have gotten nice pajama sets from the clearance rack at Marshall's. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Okay. Shout out to fiscal responsibility. But that's not the visage of someone who is serious about buying a damn near $200,000 ring for a woman that he didn't want, but has been pulled into. Let me shut up. I'm sorry.
Dollars for an engagement ring. And while out on a date with Josh, Ashley decides to let him know that she cannot be in this relationship with him anymore. He just doesn't seem to have the finances.
What the fuck is this? What is on? Josh looks like what would happen if Ashley's son Dean tried to draw a picture of himself when he grows up, but accidentally dropped the crayon and then rolled it around with his toes.
Together to be able to take her on these international vacations, and she's used to a certain lifestyle. But she had fun f***ing you, Josh, so thank you for your service. And things get tense at Stacey's Shio Gummy event because first, she tries to squash the beef she has with Ashley, which was already getting a bit wackadoodle. But things don't work out that way when it comes to Stacey and
Oh, we're about to get into this. Somebody said accurate but not nice. Thank you for understanding me. I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just trying to be accurate. Yeah, I don't think Timo Jack Harlow is it. It's given more like post-surgery Shiatsu Bob. Like, let me stop, y'all. The accuracy is gonna make me seem like a bad person. Let's talk about the scene with my two faves going after each other. Yeah, let's talk about it. What I do? This is what I do meme that I need to start posting when y'all tell me to stop, and I don't even know when I started. No, I actually think the hard wig is part of her Infinity Stone magic. I think Stacey looks like a soft life hard wig woman. I think the hard wig is part of her myth. Like, we know the woman who is tall and gorgeous but has a crooked, slightly crunchy wig at all times and a rich European man who's given her biracial babies. We all that, like, I think the wig actually goes with Stacey is hard wig soft life, y'all. Yeah, like I actually think I'm not a fan of hard wigs, but I know where they belong. Although if Stacey ever got like you know how Claudia Jordan's hair be looking like amazing and luxurious? If Stacey ever got some luxurious hair, child, Klarna might start fucking queefing on herself and crowning out her misery. It might just be like a little misery baby would pop out of her. And Greg would be like, it's not mine, right? Like, I think Stacey with luxurious bundles might be too much for these girls. They can barely take her with the hard wig. Come on. Like, I like my Stacey the way she is, but Stacey, if you do show up with beautiful bundles, I will find a way to look past that and still see you as the hard wig soft life queen that you are. So, guys, let's go into what happens next. Not Stacey. Greg was in the store sweat. Greg really looked like, yeah. Very QVC, yes. I'm telling you, that wig has a place, and we finally found who's been buying all those beauty supply wigs that y'all be giving the side eye to. It was Stacey and her ilk. All right, so after the Monique thing kind of fizzles out, and we're just like, man, whatever. Then we see, let's skip Angel and Klarna. I don't want to talk about that. Gizelle and Klarna tap out of showing to Stacey's event. Yes, the event. So Gizelle and Klarna said, we don't want to be fake ass bitches. We don't want to come. And I respect it. You know who doesn't mind being a fake ass bitch though? Ashley. Ashley's like, bitch, the only storyline I have is that my boy toy, who looks like a grown-up version of my son, and I are no longer wasting each other's time. I don't have a storyline. And when I tried to have a storyline with Stacey and fucking Monique was all zen and shit, like she'd been eating Stacey edibles, and Stacey wouldn't even let Klarna sit at the table. So I knew Ashley was going to show up. Ashley had to show up, okay? Rent might have been due that week. So the other three haters, two of them who have other business don't show up. Well, I don't think Klarna. Two of them don't show up because they have been hated by Stacey. And here's Ashley trying to have a moment. And what's so interesting is it's a conversation between Ashley and Stacey where Ashley yells at Stacey, no more lies. And Stacey says, no more evil, no more hazing, no more mean girl. She's like, bitch, if we're going to give a list of things to stop, how about you stop being a miserable bitch? Right? And so it's so interesting. It's so interesting because in the argument, you can tell that Ashley is used to being a chihuahua. Although now that she's 5'8", I guess that visual doesn't work as well as it used to. Ashley's used to wearing people out. Stacey, beautiful tall ass, looking down at her, giving it to her exact same time. You know what Stacey And Ashley having that moment of Ashley yelling at Stacey and Stacey yelling right back at the exact same time in the exact same cadence, like, bitch, I can literally meet you toe for toe. Tell me if you've ever done this. Maybe I'm a crazy bitch. I cry at babies and bark at dogs. Am I the only one? If I'm around a dog that won't shut the hell up, I just start howling at it. And the dog will be like, nah, bitch, what are you okay? If a baby starts crying and we're like in a setting with like friends and family, I'll start crying at the baby and make direct eye contact. They will stop. They think I'm nuts. Babies think I am nuts. I look them in the eye non-ironically and cry at them. Right? And so as somebody, you do it too? Okay. As somebody who barks at dogs and cries at babies, that's what it felt like Stacey was doing to Ashley. Like Ashley was a little chihuahua, and here's Stacey. Bitch, I can bark too. I'm just saying. Let me see if we can. Okay, we're back. Don't forget to like the live. Yes, thank you for the reminder, love. I appreciate you. Stacey is who Ashley was supposed to be, and Matt, I agree. I agree. I think that Stacey is replacing Ashley, and Wendy might have an opportunity to replace Gizelle. And Ashley's mad because she thought when Robin, unbreak my heart, Robin Dixon left, that she would take Robin's part as the light-skinned, non-green-eyed member of the Green-Eyed Bandits. Instead, all she has a defunct t-shirt line with no t-shirts, and a woman who is 6 feet tall is taking her spot instead. I'm telling you, I am so clear that Ashley and Gizelle recognize that Stacey and Wendy are coming for their necks without even thinking about them. Here's the gag. Stacey and Wendy, how did I start this earlier? Now y'all understand why I started out this episode like this, right? I said I have come to learn that sometimes when people who are amazing in their own right are not confident in how amazing they are, rather than be confused that someone who I see as an equal has hatred towards me, I need to be honest that their lack of confidence means I am a threat. I believe that's what's happening with Stacey versus Ashley and Gizelle versus Wendy. Even though Gizelle and Wendy have called a truce, it feels like keep your enemies closer, right? GNA, not GNA, is DOA. Oh my God. Let's play the video.
Issue, and things get so heated, Stacey kicks Tia out of her event. Also, I'm gonna say this, the scene between Ashley and her sister, talking about her sister's father having substance abuse problems and all the issues, it just didn't sit right with me. I get what we were trying to say here. I just felt like she didn't need to be put in this situation.
Remember when I said that we often see Ashley standing outside her daddy's house asking him to come out and he never does? Well, this is I guess the sister who he let in the house. And so Ashley, here's the funny thing. If you weren't so desperate and cringe and marginally talented and insufferable and completely allergic to even the most basic levels of sincere accountability, and you had even slightly decent fashions, although whoever's been dressing you this season has been eating, so I will give them their credit. I might actually feel bad for you about this storyline. I might. You actually have a real storyline, but you're so busy chasing everybody else's bones to bring them back to Gizelle that it's hard to feel sympathetic. It really is.
To talk about her dad that way. Are you guys watching? What are your thoughts?
I think what does bother me though is I think that sometimes it's a lot of like little missing teeth that have.
Oh, I was trying to be fair, so I put in one more clip because I saw these two women and there was a picture of Monique. I have no idea what this clip is about, guys. I'm gonna be honest. So if I find it boring and I fast forward, don't judge me. But considering that these two women erroneously thought, and for people like Angel who use words, erroneously means mistakenly, Angel. But when these two women erroneously thought that they were going to use the Chris Samuels versus Stacey versus Monique Samuels controversy to have moments, and they kept failing and falling flat, me seeing this picture of Monique immediately made me curious about what they had to say. It made me completely curious. So let's see what they have to say.
And I think that the audience is seeing one version of a lot of things. and they don't know a lot of the backstory that goes into it. And I think it looks like we're super reactive. And to
You are.
be honest, I don't think that we're reactive people at all, and I don't think that we actually bring the drama to people. I think more specifically myself, I don't think that I bring the drama to the people. I think that I address the things in real time. So, but you know what I thought was funny though? Have you watched any of the after show?
I mean, no. You know what my stance on watching things is. You know what
Have you
my
watched any after show?
We know what your public stance is, but Angel, you speak as if you are directly responding to people like me who have valid feedback, and you damn near quote us half the time. Angel, if you're gonna respond to people that you claim to not have heard, don't copy and paste damn near verbatim their critiques.
Because one thing I did notice on the after show was that everybody was laughing at me, which I owned. I kind of owned this in the after show, and I don't know why they didn't play this clip either. With the whole Monique of it all, because my job, to be honest, I had just met Monique. Let's talk about me telling her this, because this was one of the things this season that I'm like, child. So this lets y'all know how much that I'm really not naturally just a messy person, because that was one little beat that I was like, ugh, I just met this girl and I think she's so cute. And she's like running up to me like, you're from Baltimore? I live in Baltimore.
Monique?
Like, so,
Yeah, I like
yeah,
Monique.
Monique. So I
Yeah,
was like,
she's
oh,
cool.
okay. You know, like, cool.
So not Klarna admitting that there was a moment that was so cringe, even her Delulu couldn't stop her from checking it. Oh, I like this. Klarna, if you keep doing this and like you leave Angel in the car and then tell the driver to take her home to Colorado, I might still have hope to like you next season. Huh. I like accountable Klarna, right? Because you're a bad bitch and you're accountable. Why can't you? Now, Angel, you see what Klarna did? She admitted that she might not be Jesus Christ and did not levitate and was not the reincarnation of Maya Angelou and was not Merriam or Webster and took responsibility for being cringe. Angel, are you going to do this in this clip? Are you? Afterpay. Klarna just did it. Are you going to do it? Let's see. I haven't seen the clip, so I'm crossing my fingers.
Cool. Oh, yeah, I did care a lot. That was the problem. And she was like super cool. And the next thing I know,
she said, I did clear not. That's the problem. Oh my God, Klarna, that's 2 accountabilities. I feel like Count Dracula. 1, 2, 3, 4 accountabilities. Mwahaha. Yo, come on, more of this. You're becoming prettier the more you talk.
Like, okay, we're gonna get the elephant out of the room. And I'm like, I don't really want to get the elephant out the room too much yet. So I did kind of struggle with that. I still felt like, okay, somebody has to get the elephant out the room. But honey, I was having a hard time getting that out, honey. It was like, girl.
Yes, and I remember before that you kind of like struggled with
I was like, girl,
like how you were going to present this. It wasn't like it's not your wheelhouse. You know what I mean?
No, baby, that's not. Listen, carrying the bone is not my strong suit. Bring me the bone and let me. We can argue about the bone once you bring it, but carrying the bone.
Am I the only one who feels like Klarna's having a hopefully sincere moment of introspection, and rather than be in the moment with her friend and maybe even use it as a stepping stone for her to like be like, hey, maybe I should do the same thing, she's instead just listening to her and responding in intervals like she's interviewing her? This doesn't feel like a friend who's holding space for their co-conspirator finally holding themselves accountable. It looks like someone who's on autopilot who's trying to look like Oprah Winfrey rather than being human. Angel, you're never beating the allegations. I think Klarna feeling embarrassed about getting dragged is probably the most I've liked her this entire season. And Angel, you're watching your friend own her shit. And why do I feel more softness and compassion towards her than you do? You're so busy trying to show how, yes, I'm holding space for my friend, that you're screaming over her while she's still talking, while still somehow managing to show no warmth. Oh, baby.
No, ma'am. So that bone this season was a rough one. I did not want to be that bone carrier for that particular thing.
Yes.
But the crazy part is, though, I'm not gonna hold y'all. It was such an epic fail, and I was like, oh my God, I ain't really like
3 accountabilities. What? And look at Angel's face, y'all. Klarna is now on her third accountability. And Angel does not. Oh, bon Dieu. Can I be honest? I think Angel is going to fight tooth and nail not to have the ego death that the universe is begging her to receive. And as an ego death coach, I'm not wishing this on anybody. So don't nobody make me go viral again by clipping up some shit and making up rumors that I'm trying to put hexes on people. It's not hexes, baby. I'm just reading the room. They always say, because y'all know I always have to have a little EQ lesson, even if this is supposed to be us keying. They always say the universe whispers and then it speaks and then it screams. I think Angel getting called out for allegedly stealing $30K from Bobby was a whisper. I think Angel being on this show and getting dragged for filth and having to sit with the fact that she's not as charming as she thinks, she's just a wag. So everybody's being nice to you, not because they like you, but because your husband is powerful, right? I think that's the universe speaking. If Angel does not listen to the call of the wild that is begging her to have an ego death, begging her to stop clinging to her view of herself in order to create space for the version of her she could be on the other side of admitting how full of shit she is. That's part of what happens in the ego death. I fear that something even more extreme is going to have to happen for her to finally listen. Be it her husband embarrassing her, some financial bullshit. Like when you don't listen to something this clear and you are so willfully ignorant that you're still confused that millions of smart people who usually get it right are somehow only wrong about you, the universe doesn't forget that. Ask me how I know. Again, how did I start this live? The universe told me last year, Blue, even though you think just because you're not famous that people can't clout chase off of you, you could be just a working class creative and get clout chased. 3 niggas tried to clout chase off of you last year. You didn't learn your lesson? Nope. Then I almost got canceled. Nope. And then the universe said, let's take a couple $1,000s out of your pocket. I said, you know what, universe? Got it. Got it. Okay? The money did it. I fear the money did it, right? So I'm not saying I'm above this. I can self-identify when I am being stubborn. Angel, baby, the part of me that thought I was going to like you before you opened your mouth is praying to God that you are able to emulate this amazing moment that your sister is having. Because she probably just saved herself some karmic debt, and you are telling the universe, fuck you, I still think I'm bigger than this. That's dangerous work, baby. As somebody who works in the spiritual realm and who works around energy, that's nasty, because not even your co-conspirator is showing that she might understand what's happening and you're still being willfully ignorant. I'm nervous for you. I don't even like you, and I'm still nervous for you because you're still a woman, right? I don't enjoy seeing any Black woman suffer. So even though I'm not a fan of Angel and she irks my nerves and I think she's insufferable, I don't wish what I fear it's gonna take for her to finally listen.
That the girls want to play in my face real quick for it. Remember, Angel? They was like, "Oh, here she goes again," and I was like.
Now that was a scheme set up by Kay, because Greg is not buying her a ring. Did y'all see his face? He looked like he had nothing in the wallet, nothing in the bank. He was like, oh yeah, let me actually run it by her.
For anybody who watched the Danish Deception, Greg's face in the jewelry store looking at engagement rings for $100K was giving Danish Deception, he only had 34 cents in his bank account. The girlies who watched my Danish Deception breakdown, it's giving he only had 34 cents in his bank account. Yeah.
Just like, no, like, it's fine, we're here. Kay's mom is like, no, like, I'm here, you don't need to run it by her. This man is not buying a damn ring, okay? Why is
I agree. Spiritual bypassing never works out. For those who don't know what it means, spiritual bypassing is when you use things that are virtuous and of, oh my God, God got me X, Y, and Z as an excuse not to do the work and feel the feelings. And so you're trying to pretend that you're above it all and you're good vibes only. By the way, I hate the phrase good vibes only because some of the most valuable vibes in the room feel like shit. Good vibes only is toxically positive. I believe in aligned vibes only. In fact, in the Bluecentric shop, there's like a little shirt, a little sleep shirt that says aligned vibes only. I want whatever vibe is going to get me where I need to go, even if it's uncomfortable. So good vibes only, spiritual bypassing, all that shit that Angel is doing, it's dangerous work. Everybody that I know who moves like that always pays. Always pays.
That Stacey last week was talking about, where's your ring? And then this week, Greg is looking for a ring and ring shopping. That's a scheme set up by Kay. Side note, I don't know why Kay wasn't in this episode, but thank God. I needed a break. That Botox has clogged up her brain because who is this woman this season? Like, who are you? And it just goes to show she's very unnecessary.
My second theory for RHOP is that I think Greg is with Kiarna because he wants to rehabilitate his reputation from season 9. He didn't.
That's the only sentence I heard for me to add this in. I haven't heard the rest. So again, if she embarrasses me, do not fucking post use pictures of strangers and tag them to cuss me out. I've only heard this first sentence. I'm watching it live with y'all. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I think because here's the thing, guys, all human beings do things for incentive. No part to me thinks that Greg's on the show because he loves Klarna and he wants to support her. That's not even how he shows up, right? I don't trust promises, I trust patterns. And so Greg has shown to be somebody who's lackadaisical, not fully involved. He weaponizes incompetence, and he's self-serving. A man like that is not showing up on another season in order to support you. He's showing up in order to clear his name. Somebody said Greg said $40. Y'all ain't shit.
Not come off good in season 9, and so I think he is being shown in a way that makes him look like a better partner, and that's also a better businessman, a better person to be with in relationships or business, because he is with her and he's quote unquote doing right by her. He's doing the condo. It's a grand gesture, but it's ultimately not the commitment that she wants. And so it feels like Kiarna is accepting crumbs. And part of me feels like financially it's probably in his interest to give her something as expensive as a condo because it makes him look better in the end. If he did get that condo for her, I hope the paperwork was in order so that she was truly.
Wait a minute. What are you guys saying? I'm at the beginning, 33-minute detour. I was in Carlos's video and caught all the energy. Glad you clocked it too. I wonder, is it like this for Blue being a star? What does that mean? What's the energy, guys? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Well, not Greg is y'all. That's not a fact. Y'all be responsible. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't understand what the energy you're talking about. I know I had fun on Carlos's show. Was there some kind of energy in the chat or? Yeah, clear that up because I'm confused about that statement. But I will say Carlos and Claudia and Dustin and I, we really be kikiing. We really have a great time. So I do appreciate them for holding space for me because, again, I recognize not everybody feels good sharing space with me because I have good intentions, but I have a big personality. And so it's just always nice. Also, by the way, for the astrology girlies, Carlos is a Libra and Claudia and Dustin are an Aries. Y'all know that fire and air signs got their own ticky boo. So I think being with them has made me realize why I attract so many fire and air signs, even though you would think I would attract more earth and water signs. It's because I like people who I know are not going to like be fragile around me because I'm so boisterous, right? It's like a bunch of boys fighting and playing and jumping and skipping around, and one of them goes, "Ew, that hurt." Like I just like people who have a very strong sense of self. So yeah, I can't say any more good things about them.
The owner of it and not just something he paid and she gets to live in. But honestly, I hope for her sake that it really is real. But a part of me wouldn't be surprised if they break up as his image rehabilitates.
Bravo better be giving Stacey Rush a raise because this queen knows exactly how to make great television.
Yep.
Not only did she have one confrontation at her event, she had two. Like usually when a Real Housewife is hosting an event, they do not want to have any drama at their.
I don't hate soft people. I just no longer at this stage of life have the energy to pander to the insecurities of fragile people. Emotionally fragile people suck up the air in the room and expect everybody to basically pander to their fragility while also claiming that nobody's there for them. There's a manipulation, a victim speak, and a hypocrisy built in that completely repels me. So if you're someone who's constantly saying, "I don't love myself, please tell me how good I am." Baby, if you don't love yourself, you know yourself longer than I've known you, maybe you're right. I'm one of those people. If a man keeps telling me he ain't shit, I'm like, well, you've known you longer than me. Who am I to tell you different? I'm not the person who's going to be pulled into giving you fake compliments and be your keeper. I'm not doing that. There's something so manipulative about that that it's louder than the sympathy that you're hoping to inspire. So yeah, I don't dislike soft people because I'm a soft bitch. I'm actually very soft. I don't like emotionally fragile people because they tend to be incredibly manipulative. Now, the scene that he's about to talk about, he's going to talk about, I think, Ashley and Stacey, but he's also going to talk, and the Ashley and Stacey thing was like a funny little moment. But the moment with Tia, though, when he gets to the moment with Tia, I'm going to stop because I want to pull out what happened with Tia and why I think a lot of people think that Stacey was clocked or chin checked by Tia. No, I think Stacey actually just exposed Tia. As much as I love Tia, those last 5 minutes, I think Stacey exposed Tia and showed Tia that she was onto her the entire time, and Tia is stunned that Stacey, the person who was supposed to be, the punching bag, the one with the nasty breath, the one that everybody called crazy Stacey who likes to lie, she thought Stacey was a punching bag who she, as a new girl, was going to make her storyline being Stacey's lone ally and showing her sympathy. And Stacey clocked that shit and in a way that I was stunned by, but incredibly impressed by.
Event, but Stacey was like, nope, I need to get these two women together. I could not stop laughing when Stacey had her conversation with Ashley and they're trying to like move past their drama. Ashley's like, stop lying and we can do that. And Stacey over here is like, stop being evil.
No more hazing. No more negativity. No more evil.
You see it? Is that not like barking at a dog or crying at a baby? But although visually you can tell that Stacey's really tall, because if Ashley's 5'8", Stacey was a full head and shoulder above her. My God. Wow.
It was just funny seeing that. Do that and like Stacey saying stop being evil. That's a little of a stretch, but at the same time, yeah, Ashley can sometimes be a little dark-sided. I'm hoping they can move past this because like I don't even know why Ashley has an issue with Stacey in the first place. Everything that the women have been coming at Stacey for, like none of it actually involves anything personally with Ashley. So It's like she's just making other people's issue her drama the way that Kiarna is doing. But I appreciated their little back and forth, even though, again, I'm like, why do you even have an issue with Stacey again, Ashley? Now, what was more hilarious was Stacey and Tia's back and forth, like Stacey kicking Tia out of her.
Now, let me talk about Stacey kicking Tia out. Somebody said, Blue, let's hope this is a nice one. Me and you always agree, but we feel different about this one. I think Tia is right. No, I'm very okay with us disagreeing, and I'm going to explain why. I think Tia is right and Stacey is wrong. I'm a Sag. I need transparency. You can be honest without telling me all your business. No, I'm okay with us disagreeing, and let me explain why. If I was friends with someone who, let's say, what's your name? Fabulous Face 5038. Fab, right? Let's call you Fab. Fab, let's say you and I were friends, okay, Fab? And you and I were hanging out one day and you were like, yo, I know, your boy Johnny, and you are working together on this thing, but back in the day, me and Johnny used to date a little bit, but he curved me and it wasn't like a big enough deal for me to tell my friends about it, but it's awkward being around him because I know he has a girlfriend and I kind of played myself trying to get with him. So even though I know you and Johnny are working together, just a little heads up, I feel a way about Johnny. And the last time I saw Johnny, he said something a little bit nice, nasty to me. It wasn't big enough nice, nasty for me to make a big to-do about it, but it was nice, nasty enough that I would rather not share space with him. So Fab, are you following me so far, guys? I'm going to take you guys on a journey. So me and Fab, the young lady who disagrees, and she's allowed to disagree, I just want her to understand why I'm so adamant about this. I'm thinking, okay, Fab doesn't have beef with Johnny, but she's also not comfortable around Johnny, which means as the person who's working with Johnny, I'm not going to put her in a position to unnecessarily, thank you, Fab, I appreciate it. I'm not going to put Fab in a position to unnecessarily be around Johnny. And because the circumstance is embarrassing, I'm also never going to tell Johnny about any of this because it's not big enough to bring up, but it's embarrassing enough to be unnecessarily awkward, right? So now imagine one day Johnny says, no, not Johnny, one of my friends, Carlos King says to me, hey, Blue, I want to meet up with you because I want to talk to you about this new show that I want to develop. I want to see if you'd be a good fit for it. And I say, fuck, I'm actually supposed to be having lunch with Fab. Fab, are you with me so far, right? Me and Fab are supposed to be having lunch. So can she come with? And he's like, yeah, that's cool. I bring Fab to lunch, to the meeting. And me and Carlos are talking. And Fab is just being quiet, looking around, minding her business. And Carlos, trying to be nice, says, "Hey, Blue, you won't believe who's in town. Johnny. I told Johnny that I would be seeing you today, and he said we should all have dinner. Oh, and since Fab is here, why don't you invite Fab as well?" In that moment, I'm not gonna fucking tell Carlos King that I can't bring Fab because Fab has some weird juju with Johnny because Johnny curved her and hurt her feelings. I'm not sharing all this intimate shit about my quiet friend who's not even a part of the show. Especially if me and Carlos are just nice in a cordial way, I'm gonna be like, nah, we can't make it. Fab and I have to go do something, right? I'm going to make up a harmless white lie to get out of it because the truth is something awkward and unnecessary to share. Do y'all see where I'm going so far? Now, if I think that's cool, he invited me and Fab to dinner, I fucking said no, and the real reason is none of your fucking business. I'm not going to embarrass, especially if me and Fab used to be mad cool, fell out at friends, and just got back into each other's lives. Are y'all following? Yes? So I'm hanging out with Fab, who I just reconciled with, and you're inviting me to bring her into a situation that's awkward. I'm never going to fucking tell you that. I'm going to protect Fab, make up a white lie, and we're going to do something else that doesn't involve Johnny. Now, mind you, what happens if Carlos now goes to dinner with Johnny and his friends and says, yo, I don't know what the hell is wrong with Blue. I invited her to have dinner with me and you, and she said some shit about how her and her friend Fab are going to get their toes done and X, Y, and Z. It was very peculiar. And Johnny says, wait, Fab? I know Fab. I thought me and Fab were cool. What the fuck? And then Johnny, the same nigga I'm trying to avoid, called my phone while I'm hanging out with Fab and said, Blue, we're at dinner. And Carlos is telling me that you didn't want to show up to hang out with, you and Fab didn't want to show up to hang out. What's that about? And Fab is sitting there next to me, mortified. Because the very fucking thing that I was trying to avoid is now happening just because Carlos couldn't take no for an answer. Just because Carlos was unnecessarily making me the topic of discussion when me saying no should have fucking been enough. And I'm now annoyed because, again, me and Fab just got into each other's good graces. We just got back together as friends. And now, because you couldn't mind your fucking business, she's mortified that she's being brought up at a table that she was intentionally trying to avoid. And now I snap and I say, Carlos, you're trying to create a fucking moment right now. Stop it. Do y'all see the similarity? Do you see why Stacey's not fucking crazy all the time? Carlos, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're discussing this. Me saying me and Fab couldn't make it should have fucking been enough. Stop it. Stacey don't seem so crazy right now, does she? And Tia doesn't seem so innocent. Then I'm throwing an event where I'm about to make history as the first Black woman in the state of Virginia to own a cannabis company. And Carlos calls and says, Blue, I'm mad at you. Nigga, what? You're mad at me? Oh, okay, bet. Word? Yeah, Blue, I'm mad at you, but I'm still coming to your event. And when I come to your event, we're going to talk about it. I'm thinking, this nigga does not understand that if there's anybody who needs to be mad, it's me. But fine, go off, King. He shows up to my event and says to me, you should be happy that I gave you so many manners. I was looking out for you. And then proceeds to tell me that even a year after I've been on the show, nobody likes me. And I should be grateful that he tried to throw me a bone, even though I was on the show before him. And I say, my nigga, you see that me and our coworkers don't get along. And you thought that I was at the bottom of the totem pole because y'all like to talk shit about me at Angel's house. What you didn't clock, though, is I'm a bitch from Detroit who used to work at QVC. I'm good on my toes while looking good. You're trying to cannibalize me for a moment, not recognizing that you're the one who's wrong. And since you want to be so fucking nosy, the reason why we couldn't go is because Fab has a weird feeling, a weird dynamic with Johnny, and I was protecting my fucking friend. You nosy bitch. I was protecting my friend, but because you couldn't fucking leave it alone and you thought you caught me slipping to have a moment, now I'm having to tell what really happened because you won't fucking let it go at my own goddamn event. Get the fuck out. If you make me have to share private information about somebody I love because you are trying to use it to slander me, I'm allowed to say to the little bitch, get the fuck out of my event. I'm sorry. I'm Team Stacey on this. Fab, do you get it now, my love? And if you don't have to pretend to. But do you get it now, my love? Tia's entitlement. Tia basically admitted that she was looking her nose down on Stacey and thought that Stacey should be grateful that Tia, the new bitch, was throwing her a bone on a show that Stacey already had a season in. This new person thought that I was below her and that she was doing me a favor because she likes to hang out with bitches who talk shit about me. But I'm the bad friend. Okay. And was stunned that rather than I be the punchline, I was clocking her shit the entire fucking time. And now the bitch who thought I was below her is stunned that I'm not as stupid as she thought. I'm sorry. I've been a coach for a very long time. I know what it's like when someone like Tia, who I like Tia. I hope she course corrects this. And Tia, I hope you see this. I know what it's like when someone likable and polished and lovely is operating from hubris that they've convinced themselves is charity, does not understand the condescension that is inherently built into that stance. And when I try to simply own my free agency, because they've been thinking condescending shit about me the entire time, they're acting like I have audacity when the entire time I'm just reminding them that we're equals. Tia's offended that Stacey doesn't agree that she's better than her. And you really want me to take Tia's side? Come on now. Somebody said, Blue, the problem is me and Tia are the drama. Exactly. Exactly. You felt entitled to my personal fucking business. And when I wouldn't tell you my personal business because I clocked that something was off and you were using me for a moment, I tried to be polite and tell you a white lie, and you made it an even bigger mess. And now you're convinced that you're mad at me. Bitch, get the fuck out of my event. Does that make sense, guys? Exactly. Tia's embarrassed. People who think that they are superior and are being charitable, when they find out that they were being condescending and that it's been clocked by the person that they were judging, because bitch, I can see you back. Embarrassment is the only thing that's left. And that embarrassment can either be followed by defensiveness or accountability. And we both see which one Tia took. So Tia, I adore you. I love you. The next time I go to London, I would love to hang out with you, even though I know you live in America now. I feel like you could show me some really good places in London. But baby, Stacey clocked your tea, and I don't think you understand just how much of your hand you revealed. And let's read what Stacey said to her. Stacey's words were, and I quote, "If I declined dinner with you, I declined. The issue of my comfort with Wendy and Eddie is none of your business. Thiemo has only seen a glimpse of them during a very hurtful moment." That hurtful moment was when they said that Stacey was paying TJ to pretend to be her boyfriend, right? "My reason for us not being there has to do with Eddie and Wendy. In your attempts to get in with this group, you're trying to play catch up." And Tia, rather than acknowledge, oh my God, I was about to put you and the man that you love and the father of your child in a nasty situation because I didn't fully understand that you might have had your own reasons that you didn't feel comfortable sharing with me, rather than saying, oh shit, bitch, my bad, I didn't know none of that. My bad, which she could have said. She instead, the condescension slipped out instead. You know what Tia said instead? Do you know what Tia, who y'all are applauding, said when she found out that she had unintentionally caused harm? She said, I have extended my manners to you. Tia, are you Princess Diana? She said, but I've extended my manners to you, i.e., you pauper, why are you not more grateful that I gave you a piece of bread? And Stacey says, you want to fit in so bad. Don't give me that, bitch. You were not extending manners. You wanted to fit in so bad. And then that's when Tia mask completely falls off and she says, well, you've been here for an entire year and you still don't fit in. Tia did not deny that she wants to fit in so bad. She said, bitch, but you still don't though after a year. Nasty work. Nasty work. You just found out that you caused unintentional harm to me and my man. And because you couldn't sun me, you're now being nasty and telling me that I ain't shit. What happened to those manners, Tia? Where's the manners at? Are the manners in the room with us? People pleasers are pathological liars who convince themselves they're doing the Lord's work when they're just trying to feed their egos covertly because they're too cowardly to tell the truth. I can't clap for that 20 years into my career as an EQ coach. I was going to say EQ expert, but that's self-aggrandizing. Do you see why somebody who does the work I do can't not see this? Thank you, Fab. And by the way, Fab, I appreciate you for being so honest because I fully understand why you walked in here on Tia's side. So this is not me browbeating you. This is me saying this is such a rich example for you to be able to clock your own blind spots like so many of the viewers, hopefully, who are watching this recap will also clock. And so when Stacey is thinking to herself, I just told you the impact of your actions, because until I tell you the impact of your actions, I can't actually hold you accountable. But now that I've told you the impact of your actions, you're doubling down on being nasty and confirming that you think you're better than me. Yes. And that's when Stacey said, you are try hard. Stacey likes to be funny. She says, you are a try hard, just like your fashions. Get out. Toodaloo. Anybody who after hearing that breakdown still thinks that Tia was wrong is because you are Tia. It's because you walk around thinking you're doing niggas favors and you get mad when they have the audacity to think that you're not better than them. That's not manners. Or in the UK and several parts of the American South, I guess it is. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions why I think Stacey stunned me by revealing that her emotional intelligence was much higher than I ever believed, and Tia disappointed me by showing that hers was a facade meant to make her likable, and it worked because I still like her? Sutton, exactly. Thank you. Tia was gonna make Stacey her Sutton. For those who don't know who Sutton is, Sutton was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and was supposed to be the lone friend of Garcelle Bouvet, who, because Garcelle is Haitian and a realized bitch and is a straight shooter, was being very direct with women who like to be passive aggressive. Sutton spent years acting like she was her lone ally. And the minute the other girls took Sutton on, she left Garcelle for dead. And it revealed that Garcelle was just a means to an end. And Sutton was never really her friend and was just using her. Tia just failed at pulling a Sutton on Stacey. All 6 feet of her. I stand, Stacey. I fucking stand. Now, guys, when I tell you that pop culture is rife with educational moments, and the reason why, because people used to say, Blue, you're such an academic, you're so smart. Why do you watch so much reality TV? Because I am a bit of an anthropologist, and what better to watch than reality TV? And for those who are like, well, Blue, it's produced. Okay, even produced shit reveals humanity. Putting people in exaggerated situations reveals their humanity even more sometimes. It's easy to be nice when everything is normal, but if you're put in an unnatural circumstance, whatever version of you rises to the top reveals something about you that I might not have seen otherwise if it wasn't produced, right? So for those of you who are new here, we use pop culture and politics sometimes as a way to study the human condition. Because I love this moment that I had with Fab, right? Fab completely walked in here sincerely understanding Tia, and many of you did. And the optics of Stacey blinded her to the reasonable argument that she was making. How many times have you made a reasonable argument, but because the other person is more polished, everybody thinks they make sense because they're conflating optics with decorum. They're conflating optics with logic. Stacey knows how to give us amazing, wild visuals. She knows how to read a bitch. She also knows how to clock a room. What people who hate Stacey on this show don't realize, you're all in the audience laughing and jeering at her on the stage, but who do you think can see the most clearly? Stacey can see you clearly from that stage. You're only looking at her. She can see all of you. That's why I think Stacey just might be a contender for the new queen of Potomac. And that concludes my TED Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I hope you got something. I hope you were entertained. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little bit something about your real life, because that was low-key the intention. This is like me putting in the medicine with the sugar, right? And I do like this cadence. Somebody said, Blue, what do you think of, sorry, I think I picked the wrong one. Blue, what did you think of Stacey not inviting Wendy to the event due to conflict of interest? I actually think that was very smart. I think Stacey heard Wendy, because Stacey actually really likes Wendy, understood that it would feel awkward, and then said, let me not put you in that position. And also, I think Stacey wanted to have that conversation with Tia, and she knew that if Wendy was there, she would have to deal with Wendy and Tia. She wanted to nip the Tia thing in the bud, and maybe her and Wendy will have that conversation another time. All right, guys, this has been a great live. I'm dehydrated, so I'm going to go drink some water and wash my face and come down from this busy day I've had. But yeah, I was saying I like this cadence of doing every 2 episodes, because this season, I think because the season is half good, half dry. And by good, I mean Stacey and Wendy, and by dry, I mean everybody else. And so I think doing 2 episodes at a time is great, because then I have a more full-bodied story. Had I come here last week, I don't think I would have had as much to talk about. So yeah, let's do it every 2 episodes. Somebody said, girl, read the super chats. Oh, are they good? Oh, I hope they are. All right. And again, thank you everybody for being so lovely and for making me so proud. And go play the Diddy video and let it run up, child. I need to make that money back. All right. Oh, members, before we go. I saw somebody in here said, how many members do we have for the members drive? We're trying to get 1,000 members by Christmas. And we currently have, hold on. Drum roll, please. Oh. Interesting. We currently have 840. I thought we had 860 last time. Oh, so we basically gained a bunch and lost a bunch. Ciao. Do you know what I think happened? Because this is something I noticed. I deleted a lot of trolls. Guys, I hate to say it. In the same way my trolls put me in the top 100, I think some of my trolls were members. I've noticed that whenever I delete trolls, I lose members. Ooh, not y'all paying to hate on me. I mean, no, it's not safe. Anyways, guys, we're at 840. We are 160 away from making our 1,000 goal by Christmas. That is only about 2.5 weeks. Fingers crossed. And if not, we'll keep going. But I wouldn't mind if we did it, though. All right, guys, I have to go. I love you so much. And I think I might be back on either Friday or Saturday. I'll keep you posted on which one, because I have some good news to share, but I'm going to wait a couple of days before I share it. Oh, thank you for being a member. Oh, and the phrase is Stacey is in on the joke and the girls can't stand it. That's the phrase for the recap comments. Stacey is in on the joke and the girls can't stand it. Not a punchline. Not a punchline at all. I love y'all. Bye, family.